Chapter 1. Bite. The Naruto godly system has started binding. Bind. Binding completed. When your heart beats, you can make money. When you spend money, you can become stronger. As long as your heart is still beating, you will eventually become the strongest. The host will receive a certain amount of money for every heartbeat. Investing, donating, spending, and accumulating $100 will earn 1 point. Lending, repaying, transferring, and other behaviors will not generate points. Points can be used to upgrade system levels, participate in lotteries, and for many other uses that have not yet been unlocked. The sudden sound woke Suo up from his sleep. Then, he felt a splitting headache and a message inexplicably appeared in his mind. He traveled through time. Travel to a world composed of multiple American TV series. It turns out that birthday wishes can really come true. Suo muttered to himself. Before going to bed, he made a wish for his 18th birthday, hoping to have endless money and various ninjutsu in Naruto. Then, his wish actually came true, and he bound to the Naruto godly rich system. As for the incidental time travel, Suo didn't care about it. Anyway, before he traveled through time, he was a lonely man who could feed the whole family. Now with the Naruto godly rich system, he would definitely live a more free, comfortable, and exciting life. Maybe he could even make the meaning of his name come true and really establish a clan in this American drama world. System. As Suo's voice fell, a virtual picture appeared in his sight. Host, Soul Level, LV1, Apprentice Ninja, $1 reward for each heartbeat, experience value, 0/10,000 points, 0 wealth, $135, withdrawal, item, newbie gift pack, unopened, ninjutsu, constitution, bloodline limit. Soul looked at the amount of wealth that increased at the same frequency as his heartbeat. It was true that he received a reward of $1 for every heartbeat. A normal adult's heart beats 60 to 100 times per minute. Based on 100 beats per minute, 1 minute costs $100, 1 hour costs $6,000, 1 day costs $144,000, 1 week costs $1,008,000, and 1 month costs $4,032,000. Not counting the small amounts, $4 million per month means $48 million per year. If the system level is upgraded, the rewards will definitely increase as well. In a place like the United States where money is everything, with this system, he is here to be a dad. In addition to the character panel, the system also has several sections, namely lottery, tasks, mall, gold exchange, and ninja training. Suo opened them one by one. Lucky draw, 100 points per draw. Points required will increase as your level increases. Tasks of different levels will appear randomly. Completing the tasks will earn you money, points, items, ninjutsu and other rewards. Mall, not open gold exchange, not open ninja training, you will get rewards for every ninja you train. When the ninja's level is upgraded or when the host consumes, he will get a certain degree of rewards and rebates. There are no points for the lottery, the mall and gold exchange are not open. The tasks are not released, and we don't know how to train ninjas for the time being. The only thing we can look forward to now is the novice gift package. Come out, newbie gift pack. Bite. The novice gift pack is open, and you will get the following rewards: basic gift pack, ninjutsu gift pack, illusion gift pack, taijutsu gift pack, sealing gift pack, mystic gift pack, forbidden gift pack, ninja tool gift pack, and bloodline limit gift pack. The series of gift packages made Suo a little confused. Is this a gift package for beginners? Gift packs are fine, big gift packs are fine, but what about newbies? Does the system have any misunderstanding about the word novice? Which system gives away such an all-inclusive gift package at the beginning? With this going on, how can there be any motivation to upgrade and become stronger? Suo, who had gotten the advantage, said something frivolous and was about to open the bag, but was suddenly interrupted by the piercing sound of a police siren. After hearing the sirens, Suo realized that there were more important things that needed to be confirmed. Where are you? The evening breeze is gentle, bringing a hint of coolness. The first thing that catches your eye in the dim night is the bright stars in the sky. Standing up, Suo found a neat lawn under his feet and surrounded by single-family villas in typical European and American styles. The street lights were dim, and police cars and ambulances disappeared from sight from near to far. In front of the villa diagonally ahead, 2 men whose identities Suo could recognize at a glance were standing next to a black Chevrolet Antelope. Dean Winchester, Sam Winchester, the famous Winchester duo, how could he not know them? After all, Supernatural, an American TV series that has been broadcast for more than 10 years, can be regarded as his Enlightenment TV series. From the ghosts and evil spirits at the beginning, to the angels and demons later, to Leviathan and Cain, and finally even the brother and sister God and darkness were defeated, from the human world to hell, from hell to purgatory, from purgatory to heaven, and from heaven to a parallel world, the Wen brothers saved each other, using their mortal bodies to kill anyone who stood in their way, and even gods who stood in their way, thus earning the name of the Wen family's twin demons. Bite. E-level mission, help Sam Winchester get over the grief and guilt over his girlfriend's murder. Reward for completing the mission, $10,000. Do you want to accept the mission? Although he didn't expect the task to be issued suddenly, Suo accepted it without hesitation. Judging from the level and reward of the task, this should be the lowest level and simplest task, but it is also difficult to complete. Although he knew the Wen brothers, they didn't know him. It was unrealistic for him to rush over to comfort Sam, but he had already thought of how to complete the task. At the same time, he has also figured out that this should be the very beginning of the supernatural plot. Because his father is missing, Dean finds his younger brother Sam, who quit the family ghost hunting activities after high school. At this time, Sam is a Stanford student who is about to enter law school. He lives happily with his girlfriend and has a bright future. He doesn't want to go back to his original life at all. Sam set out to look for his father with Dean on the condition that Dean promised not to affect his interview at law school. After failing, Dean sent Sam back, and then Sam discovered that his girlfriend had been killed. The way she died was the same as their mother's, she was nailed to the ceiling and burned to death. From then on, Sam threw himself into the hunting operation, looking for his father while wanting to avenge his mother and girlfriend. This also marked the beginning of the road to fame for the Winchester duo. Although Suo was confident that he could complete the task, he still needed to increase his persuasiveness before going there. System: open the basic gift package. P.S. A new book is launched. This is Lao Wang's 8th book. If it suits your taste, those who have money can support it financially, and those who don't can support it with their presence. Chapter 2. Bite. The basic gift package is opened, and the reward is Chakra refining technique. Suo seemed to have suddenly grasped the method of extracting chakra. Chakra is a kind of energy produced by the perfect fusion of physical energy and spiritual energy in human cells. The extracted chakra can be used in jutsu after seals are made. It is the basis for ninja abilities such as ninjutsu, genjutsu, and taijutsu. The more chakra you have, the more ninjutsu you can perform, and the more powerful the ninjutsu you can perform. Suo tried to refine the chakra while continuing to open other gift packages. Bite. The ninjutsu gift pack is opened, and the reward is Fire Style, Great Fire Extinguishment. Bite. The illusion gift pack is opened, and the reward is The Art of Nirvana Abode. Bite. The physical skills gift pack is opened, and the reward is Bagwapam. Return to Heaven. Bite. The Sealing Technique gift pack is opened, and the reward is Super Beast Fake Painting, Watching Covetously. Bite. The Secret gift pack is opened, and the reward is Shadow Imitation. Bite. The Forbidden Technique gift pack is opened, and the reward is Multiple Shadow Clone Technique. Bite. The Ninja Tool gift pack has been opened, and rewards include Broken Sword and Beheading Sword. Bite. The Bloodline Limit gift pack is opened, and the reward is Byakugan. The rewards for techniques are all instantly mastered in the form of a sudden enlightenment. The Broken Sword and Beheading Sword for ninja tools do not appear out of thin air, but are stored in the inventory of the system's character panel and can be retrieved and materialized at any time. As for the Byakugan of the Kekii Genkai, Suo didn't feel any discomfort in his eyes, but he had a feeling that he could open his eyes at any time. This made him sigh that the system not only made him a super rich man, but it was also very generous. It was just a big gift package for novices at the beginning, and look at what it got. The B-level ninjutsu Fire Style, Great Fire Extinguishment gathers chakra behind the throat and spits out a large area of fire like sea water forward. It has a very large range. After Madara-sama used it in the anime, more than 20 members of the Allied Ninja Force's Water Style, Water Array Wall could barely block it. Its power is amazing. Even though he did not have such a huge amount of chakra at the moment, and even though Fire Release was a fancy ninjutsu in Naruto that could hardly cause any damage, it was different in this world. Most supernatural creatures in American TV series are afraid of fire. What do the Winchesters do? No matter what kind of ghost you are, just dig up the grave, burn the bones, and you will be dead. The art of Nirvana Monastery is a large-scale illusion. More and more feathers will appear in front of the eyes of the person who has been affected by it, and then he will fall into a deep sleep. Whether it's clearing the scene actively or escaping from prison, once the illusion is released, you can do whatever you want. Bagwazang Kaishin is a high-level physical technique passed down secretly by the main family of the Hyuga clan. At the moment of being attacked, a large amount of soft fist chakra is released from the chakra points in the body, and then it makes circular rotation like a gyroscope. It can rebound all physical attacks and is known as the strongest defense. All the swords, spears, halberds, axes, hooks and forks will bounce back once the situation changes. Even a hail of bullets will not be a problem for you. You can just turn around and it will be done. Super Beast Fake Painting, Gazing with Eager Eyes. This is the sealing technique in the Super Beast fake painting. A tiger is drawn on a giant scroll through special pen and ink. The tiger will become real, come out to bite the sealed person and drag him back to the scroll. The sealed person will then appear on the painting on the scroll, held down by a tiger claw. What to do if you can't kill the enemy? Seal you. Just seal you into a painting. If you are interested, take it out to appreciate it. If you are not interested, put it away and let it gather dust. I just want to ask you, are you still showing off? Shadow mimicry technique is a unique ninjutsu that allows one to extend one's own shadow to connect with the enemy, causing the opponent to perform the same movements as oneself. You have to do whatever I do. Not only do I arrange it clearly for you, I also let you see it clearly. Multiple shadow clone technique, forbidden technique, A-level ninjutsu, disperses part of the chakra in the body evenly, and uses the chakra to create physical clones. They can act and fight like the caster, have consciousness independent of the caster's body and a certain ability to resist attacks. After the caster is released, the clone's memory and experience will return to the body. Because this technique consumes chakra too intensely, people who do not have a large amount of chakra will hurt themselves or even endanger their lives if they use this technique, so it is listed as a forbidden technique. This is the ninjutsu that So wants most. With this ninjutsu, he can do multiple tasks and learn multiple knowledge at the same time. If you want to learn something, just let your clone learn it. Once it has learned it, remove the clone and bang, you will have learned it. What is this? If I hold the brick, I can't hold you, and if I put down the brick, I can't support you. The main body holds you, and the clone holds the brick, without delaying either. If you become a delivery man, you can take delivery orders from all over the city at the same time, taking other people's paths and leaving them with no way to go. The Byakugan is a bloodline limit possessed by the Hyuga clan, which originated from the Otsutsuki clan and is one of the three major eye techniques of Hokage. It has a 360-degree field of vision, the ability to see the other person's meridians, acupoints, the flow of chakras in the human body and can see through things, the ability to see far away, and the ability to have a strong inside eye. By utilizing chakra, the power of the eyes can be multiplied. The eyes can see things within a radius of 1 kilometer, and their insight surpasses that of the Sharingan. Although it may not be as good as the Sharingan as a whole in the early stage, it can evolve into the Rinnegan in the later stage, can activate the Rinnegan chakra mode, can use the green truth-seeking ball, can control gravity and repulsion, control the movement trajectory of celestial bodies, and has the ability to manipulate space. Its move Golden Wheel Rinnegan Explosion can split the moon, which is extremely powerful. Su has read many online novels whose protagonists have the same surname as his own, such as Suizhan, Suibai, Suisheng, and Suijing. Although they all have invincible golden fingers, they all start out penniless and have to rely on themselves to struggle. Compared with his own start, theirs is so weak. Being rich, good-looking, and capable, this is not only a dream start, but also the life that all men dream of. With such a brilliant start, system, I don't even want to work hard anymore. It seems like the system doesn't require me to work hard, all I have to do is spend money. After all, spending money can make you stronger. Let's get back to the topic. Now that he has been convincing enough, Su is going to go and enlighten Sam Winchester and make friends with the Winchester brothers. As we all know, Supernatural has no female protagonist, but there are a lot of female supporting roles, and their endings are not very good, so he definitely doesn't want to make friends with the Wen brothers for this reason. He just thinks that since he has the ability, what's wrong with taking care of a few more girls? After all, he uses his salary to create happiness. Chapter 3. When you stare into the abyss is also staring into you. If we remove the philosophical meaning of this sentence, it can also be understood as when I look at you, you are also looking at me. After Sue stood up, he had been looking in the direction of the Wen brothers almost all the time. Although he was studying the system and gift packs during this process, to the Wen brothers who were unaware of the inside story, he was just looking at them. At first, the Wen brothers didn't take it seriously, thinking they were just neighbors or passers-by watching the fun. After all, police cars and ambulances had just arrived. But after a long time, the other party neither left nor came to inquire, but kept staring at them, which made Dean feel something was wrong. Sam's girlfriend was just an ordinary person who knew nothing. Nothing would happen to her earlier or later, but something happened when she was sending Sam back. What does this mean? It means that the murderer had been watching them and knew their itinerary very well. Now, a suspicious stranger is also nearby, staring at them. How can Dean not think too much? Perhaps, he is the murderer's spy? Perhaps, he is the murderer, the yellow-eyed devil that he and his father have always wanted to find. Demons can possess ordinary people. Dean took a bottle of beer from the car, handed it to Sam and gave him a hidden wink. Although Sam is still immersed in the guilt and anger of losing his girlfriend, the long-standing brotherhood makes him understand what Dean means. Sam took the beer from Dean but didn't open the bottle. Instead, he gritted his teeth and lowered his voice. How to do it? Dean pulled a small silver hip flask from his pocket, unscrewed it, and raised an eyebrow. Holy water. Dean nodded. I'll give him a hand first when I get over there. If there's any problem, I'll send him to hell. Good. Sam tightened the beer bottle in his hand and walked towards Sue's company not far away with Dean. Sue was just about to approach the Wen brothers, but suddenly he found that the Wen brothers actually took the initiative to walk towards him. Although the brothers' expressions were normal, their behavior was not normal. First of all, how could Sam, who had lost his girlfriend, be in the mood to talk to strangers? Secondly, Sam didn't open the beer in his hand, but Dean, who loved beer the most, didn't take a beer, but a small hip flask instead. The person who came here had bad intentions. Am I being misunderstood? Sam's girlfriend had just been killed by a demon, and his own behavior was very much like that of a murderer who stayed at the scene to provoke others after killing someone. Given the current experiences of the Wen brothers, it was only natural for them to doubt themselves. If I were in their shoes, I would also feel suspicious. Sue took a look at the open wine flask in Dean's hand. If nothing unexpected happened, there should be holy water in it. Pouring holy water on the face is the most direct way to determine whether someone is possessed by a demon. Although this was a misunderstanding, and although Sue also had the idea of making friends with the Wen brothers, as the rich father of the Hokage, he would definitely not allow himself to be splashed with holy water in the face before making friends. Although he had a loving heart, he would definitely not do anything that would put himself at a disadvantage. Well, let's strike first. After all, you were the ones who misunderstood me first, so it's reasonable for me to bear a little injustice. Besides, there's an old saying that there's no deal without a fight. We can make friends after the fight. Watching the Wen brothers getting closer and closer, Sue's lips curled up slightly to reveal an expectant smile, and at the same time, he began to form seals quickly with his hands. Although this was his first time to make seals, the sudden enlightenment he gained made him feel inexplicably familiar and smooth with making seals, and he made the seals quickly and smoothly. When the Wen brothers saw Sue's smile and the strange movements of his hands, they became more certain of their guess. Sam, who was supposed to wait for Dean to splash holy water to confirm the situation, was directly ignited by anger, lost his mind, and rushed towards Sue with a ferocious expression. Shadow mimicry. After Sue completed the seal, the shadow under his feet quickly stretched out and directly connected to Sam's shadow. Sam, who was rushing forward, suddenly stopped moving. Sam was stunned, and saw Sue in front of him slowly raised his left hand. At the same time, something strange happened. Sam found that his left hand holding the wine bottle was raised uncontrollably, and the action was exactly the same as the other party. You. Before Sam could finish his words, Sue raised his left hand and suddenly hit his head. There was nothing in his left hand, and it stopped just before hitting his head. But Sam had a bottle in his hand, and although he also stopped, the distance between the bottle and his head was different. Bang! The bottle broke on Sam's head, glass shards and beer foam splashed, and beer flowed down Sam's face. Sam. Dean, who followed, was dumbfounded. Not only did Sam stop and say something, he even hit himself with a wine bottle? No, that guy's movements were exactly the same as Sam's, he was controlling Sam. Dean reacted instantly and looked at Sue with a fierce and cautious look. What did you do to Sam? Sue shrugged, I just did what he originally wanted to do to me. Sue shrugged, and Sam did the same. That's holy water in your hand, right? Do you know what to do? Sue asked back. I'll throw it in your face. Dean said, and then he threw the holy water directly at Sue. Sue jumped vertically, and Sam, who was controlled by him, also jumped vertically, and then, was splashed with holy water in the face. The three people were originally positioned in a straight line with Sue and Sam, and Dean was on the side, so when Dean splashed holy water on Sue, Sue only needed to jump slightly to the side to let Sam block the bullet for him. Looking at Sam who was splashed in the face, Dean couldn't help but be stunned. He looked a little annoyed and apologetically at Sam. Why does Sue feel that he seems a little bit unintelligent? Without the holy water, Sam was strangely controlled by the other party again. Dean could only outsmart him and try to use his mouth to persuade him. What do you want? Dean asked while observing, trying to find a flaw or an opportunity. What do I want? I want to make friends with you. Do you believe it? Sue said. Make friends? Humph, I won't make friends with the devil. Dean snorted coldly. As a demon hunter, you definitely won't make friends with demons, especially your family. Your mother was killed by a demon, your father became a demon hunter, and you two brothers have been trained since you were young. Now Sam's girlfriend has been killed by the same demon. Naturally, you won't make friends with demons. But the thing is, I'm not a demon. Do you think I will believe you? You said you are not a demon, so why did you appear here by chance? Why did you keep staring at us? Also, how did you control Sam? Dean asked with a sneer. Sue's expression was strange. Didn't I say that I came here to make friends with you? If I didn't come here, how could I get to know you and make friends with you? Before, there were policemen, and after the policemen left, Sam was sad again. If I don't observe for a while and find the right time to go over, that's making friends? That's not being comfortable. As for the means of controlling Sam, it's the power of money. Chapter 4. I kind of regret making friends with you. Look at my eyes. If I were a demon or possessed by a demon, would my eyes be so normal? Sue pointed at her own eyes in disgust. Under the control of shadow mimicry, Sam did the same thing, pointing at his own eyes. Dean subconsciously looked at Sam, then at Sue, and only then noticed that Sue's eyes were normal. If a person is possessed by a demon, his eyes will turn black or other colors. For example, the yellow-eyed demon who killed Sam's mother and his girlfriend has yellow eyes. It was sloppy. Although human eyes are normal when the demon hides in them, once the demon takes control of the human body, the eyes will change. This guy said he used superpowers to control Sam. If it was a demonic trick, his eyes should have changed. If my eyes look like this, it's understandable that you suspect I'm a demon. Sue's voice sounded. White eyes. Dean, who originally thought he was careless, was stunned and horrified when he saw the other person's normal eyes suddenly turn white and blue, with veins bulging around the eyes. He knew about the black-eyed demon, which was the most common and lowest-level demon. Above the black-eyed was the red-eyed demon, which was mostly the crossroads demon. Then there was the yellow-eyed demon, which was the guy who killed his mother and Sam's girlfriend. He was very powerful, but the white-eyed demon? He had never heard of it. Bah, Chongwei, you still say you don't know martial arts? Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Sue grinned smugly at the nervous Dean and almost wanted to ask him if he was touched, but Dean probably didn't understand the joke. Relax, don't be so nervous. This is not the devil's eye, but the Byakugan from the bloodline limit, which is also one of my money abilities. Most demons have black eyes and red eyes, with a few yellow eyes. As for the Byakugan, only one person has it. Lilith. You will have a chance to meet her later. As Sue spoke, he adjusted himself to the Byakugan's visual mode, and was amazed by both the 360-degree view and the perspective effect. The Byakugan of demons simply refers to the white eyes, but my Byakugan is just a name. It is a type of bloodline limit, one of the 3 major eye techniques. Sue rolled his eyes, thought for a moment, and retracted his shadow imitation technique. The shadow that was originally connected to Sam's shadow returned to Sue's feet. Sam hesitantly reached out and wiped the beer off his face, and after making sure he was free again, he came to Dean. The two brothers did not act rashly, but looked at Sue with some surprise, wondering what he meant. A forced melon is not sweet. Making friends depends on fate. If we are destined to be together, we will naturally have the opportunity to become friends in the future. Just consider it a greeting today. In addition, I will send you two some news as compensation for your shock. Your father is not in danger for now, but you'd better find him as soon as possible. The yellow-eyed demon will come to you soon. Sam, your girlfriend may be resurrected, but we need a certain amount of her DNA, which can be prepared in advance. After the words fell, Sue suddenly heard a ding sound, which was the sound of the task being completed. The mission is to help Sam get over the grief and guilt of his girlfriend's murder. Originally in the plot, Sam quickly cheered up and set off on the road with Dean after his girlfriend's death. Now, after the misunderstanding just now, plus the possibility of his girlfriend's resurrection, Sam is given hope of redemption and compensation, which naturally allows him to get over the grief and guilt. After all, the mission is not to completely resolve his emotional issues, nor is it to help him resurrect his girlfriend, so giving him hope and cheering him up is enough. If that's not enough, Sue wouldn't mind letting him learn about the impure world reincarnation, self-life reincarnation, samsara reincarnation, earth escape reincarnation, and dragon life reincarnation. Leave. Sue smiled and waved at the shocked Wen brothers, then turned and left. Wait, you're just leaving like that? You haven't told me who you are yet. How do you know my father is okay? How do you know the yellow-eyed devil is coming to my house? And how are you going to resurrect my girlfriend? Seeing that Sue was about to leave, Sam hurriedly shouted and tried to catch up with him. The white feathers swayed in the wind and slowly fell in the dim night sky. When Sam saw the falling white feathers, he was stunned at first, and then he fell straight to the ground with a plop. This scared Dean, who was a step slower. He stopped in a hurry to check on Sam. Then he also saw the falling white feathers, and then he fell beside Sam and fell asleep as well. The shadow imitation technique is quite effective, and the Nirvana Sutra is not bad either. Unfortunately, my chakra is too little, and the effect of the ninjutsu is not that strong. The Wen brothers should not sleep for too long. Sue turned around and glanced at the sleeping Wen brothers. These two people could be called the children of destiny, and there should be no danger in sleeping here. Dean, the eldest son of the Winchester family, is the incarnation that the angel Michael has taken a fancy to. Sam, the second son of the Winchester family, has been fed demon blood since he was a child, and later his incarnation was taken advantage of by Lucifer. As for the third son of the Winchester family, who they don't know about yet, their half-brother, haha, he died not long after he appeared. Although Sue was prepared to make friends with the Wen brothers, of course, it would be even better if he could take care of a few more girls as well as he could, but as the rich father of the Hokage, it would be a bit cheap if he was too proactive in making friends, so, they would naturally become friends if they were destined to be together. After all, as long as you have money, you can be connected with everyone. The mission has been completed and the initial funds have been obtained. The next step is to figure out how to spend money to become stronger. Especially the issue of chakra amount, if one could obtain the physique of the Senju or Uzumaki clan, or even the tailed beasts, one's start would be even more perfect. Host, Soul Level, LV1, Apprentice Ninja, $1 reward for each heartbeat, Experience Value, 0/10,000 points, 0 Wealth, $10,904, Withdrawal, Item, Broken Sword, Beheading Sword Ninjutsu, Chakra Refining Technique, Fire Style, Great Fire Extinguishment, Nirvana's Pure Land Technique, 8 Diagrams Palm, Resurrection, Super Beast Fake Painting, Covetous Eyes, Shadow Imitation Technique, Multiple Shadow Clone Technique, Constitution, Bloodline Limit, Byakugan 10,000 in the wealth is the reward for completing the task, and 904 is the heartbeat reward. How can I withdraw this money? Can I cash it out of thin air, or transfer it to the dedicated bank card? System, withdraw all wealth. Sue shouted silently, and then a cloud of white mist appeared in front of him with a bang, a bit like the feeling of summoning items in the scroll and summoning beasts in Naruto. The white mist dissipated, and several cards appeared in front of Sue. Bending down to pick them up and looking through them one by one, Sue's expression was weird and he really wanted to shout a few times, "This system is awesome!" Broken voice. Chapter 5. Superior Suite, the Clement Hotel, Palo Alto, south of San Francisco, California. After a curious tour, Sue sat down on the sofa. The suite that cost more than 1,000 yuan a night was just like this. The space was not as big as he had imagined. From his later perspective, the layout of the room was just average. If it were not close to Silicon Valley and Stanford University, it would not be worth the price. Perhaps, it was also because of the contrast with other hotels in the same industry that after leaving the Wen brothers, Sue found a hotel nearby that looked upscale and quite good. Reaching into his pocket, Sue took out 3 cards, which were given by the system after he withdrew his wealth previously. The 3 cards are, bank card, social security card, and driver's license. There is nothing special about the bank card, it is just bound to the system. All the withdrawn wealth will be deposited into this card. When Sue checked in the room before, he used this card and there was no problem at all. The social security card, abbreviated as social security card, is equivalent to the ID card here, with your name and number on it. Driver's license, which contains your photo, name, gender, date of birth, address, number, etc. There is no need to say much about bank cards. The social security card can be considered to have solved the problem of being an illegal account holder. After all, if you are a rich person, you will have more places to spend money in the future. It will be very inconvenient if you do not have a reasonable identity. A driver's license is even simpler. How many rich people do not play with cars? This made Sue couldn't help but sigh again at the awesomeness of the system, which really arranged his start very clearly. However, what's even more amazing is your address on your driver's license. Mystic Falls, Virginia. This place is not unfamiliar to American TV series fans, as it comes from the American TV series, The Vampire Diaries. Like Supernatural, The Vampire Diaries is also a long-running American TV series that can be regarded as one of the labels. Although Sue's impression of it is not as deep as Supernatural and he can't remember the details very clearly, he still roughly remembers the events and people surrounding the town of Mystic Falls, especially several of the protagonists, the heroines. Why? Because both are American TV series with supernatural themes about vampires and werewolves, Sue is more familiar with another equally famous TV series, True Blood. The reason why the heroine is mentioned separately is mainly because the heroine of True Blood is too ugly, but no matter how ugly she is, it does not affect her pursuit of the TV series. On the contrary, the heroine of The Vampire Diaries is really beautiful and fairy-like, but the plot is not as attractive as True Blood. Of course, this is only for the Sue family. Maybe the scale of True Blood is bigger? First he met the Winchester brothers in Supernatural, and then he was born in Mystic Falls in The Vampire Diaries. For Sue, who loves American TV series, his future life is full of the mystery of discovering unknown Easter eggs, which makes him very excited. Sue called up the system panel. Although he had spent more than $1,000, his wealth did not decrease but increased. It took more than half an hour to find a hotel. His current wealth was about $14,000 and his points were 11 points. Currently, the only ways to become stronger are through lotteries and mission rewards. Mission rewards are random, and points are not enough for lotteries. It seems that the only way to become stronger is to accumulate wealth in a short period of time and rely on spending money to get points for lotteries. This system really allows you to become stronger by spending money. Without spending money, there is no way to become stronger. It does not allow you to work hard at all. You can only be a lazy person and live a life of extravagance to become stronger. Or, should we put our hard work aside for now? Have a good sleep for a few hours, and when you wake up you will have tens of thousands of dollars. Then you can find a place to spend lavishly and win a few prizes. Sue thought about it and decided to sleep. Of course, it was impossible for him to sleep. Although he couldn't draw lots to become stronger for the time being, he could study the ninjutsu he knew currently. Although these ninjutsu could only be mastered instantly, it didn't mean that Sue wasn't curious or excited. This is ninjutsu. This is his first time to come into contact with real ninjutsu. How can I not be curious? How can I not be excited? Even if you can drive, you will be excited and feel a sense of novelty when you get a new car, right? What's more, Sue is just a theoretical driver. He had tried the shadow imitation technique and the Nirvana temple technique, and he had also used the white eyes. He had no ink scrolls for the sealing technique, so he couldn't use it. He could try the heaven rescue technique, but he couldn't feel the defensive effect without being attacked. It would be a bit foolish to spin a spinning top by himself, so. Multiple shadow clone technique. Make a seal and drink softly. Su's second-year student posed in the same style as Naruto, and then there was a bang sound, and a shadow clone that looked exactly like him appeared next to him. They are really exactly the same. Sol looked at the shadow clone curiously. Whether it was the height, weight, facial features, or even the clothes they wore, they were all the same. Well, they are all so handsome. The shadow clone spoke directly. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Would you like to try another one? Just give it a try. Shadow clones are physical clones created by Chakra, with consciousness independent of the caster's original body. After the spell is lifted, the clone's memories and experiences will return to the original body. After a loving conversation, Su marveled at the magic of the shadow clone and suddenly thought of something. The shadow clone is a physical entity. It can think, attack and defend itself, breathe, and have a heartbeat. So. System, open the panel. Su took a deep breath, calmed his excited emotions, let his overly active heart gradually return to its normal beat rate, and then stared at the wealth column on the panel. +1 USD, +1 USD, +1 USD. Su stared at the data and silently counted his own heartbeats. After several matches, he confirmed one thing. The shadow clone's heartbeat can actually increase the system's heartbeat reward. In other words, the heartbeat of the original body is rewarded with $1, and the heartbeat of the shadow clone is also rewarded with $1. If the heartbeat frequency of the original body and the shadow clone is the same, originally I can get $6,000 per hour. After adding a shadow clone, I can get double that per hour, which is $12,000. If I summon thousands of shadow clones. At this moment, Su felt that his math should have been taught by his physical education teacher because he couldn't calculate clearly. He was so drunk, so drunk. Su felt that he needed to calm down and pour some cold water on himself. His chakra was too little now. Even if he could summon shadow clones, he could only summon a few and they couldn't last long. So no matter whether this discovery was a bug or a cheat, it was actually not that exaggerated. Bullshit. If I draw the physique of Hashirama Senju or Naruto Uzumaki, will the problem of low chakra amount still be a problem? There are physical fitness items on the system bar, which means it can definitely be obtained. Let's talk about the tailed beasts. Although they are not shown on the system bar for the time being, can the Hokage system not have tailed beasts? Can you still be a Hokage without tailed beasts? Physical fitness and tailed beast, a copy of Naruto, with definitely thousands of shadow clones. What is this? From now on, my life is all about spending money? I can't spend money slowly. The speed of making money is faster than Kakashi's hand seals. P.S. I have searched for a long time about whether the shadow clone has a heart or heartbeat, but I have not found any clear-cut evidence. So the setting in the book can be understood as a secondary setting or a revised setting, or even if there is no real heart, as long as the heartbeat system is simulated, it is acknowledged and should be harmless. I hope that the Naruto setting party will not be too serious about it. Chapter 6. So cancelled the shadow clone, and in an instant, the memories transmitted back by the shadow clone flooded into his mind. It was a strange feeling, as if he had experienced it himself, but also as if he was seeing it from a god's perspective. It's confirmed. The system does recognize the shadow clone's heartbeat, but it is just a heartbeat, and the shadow clone does not have a system. I don't know if the system will recognize the expenses of the shadow clone. If the shadow clone can also earn points by spending money for me, then it will be a perfect tool. Bang! Su summoned his shadow clone again, then handed him the bank card and asked him to go out and spend some money. After the shadow clone left, Su recovered his chakra for a while, then stood up and walked towards the wall. One step, one step, one step. Just when he was about to hit the wall, he lifted his leg and stepped on the wall. The chakra under his feet condensed and firmly attached to the wall, and then he stepped on it with his other foot. Success! His body tilted off the ground, his feet firmly standing on the wall, Su laughed excitedly. Climbing trees and treading water are the simplest and most effective ways to exercise chakra control, and are also the basic abilities that ninjas must have. This ability is insignificant in Naruto, but it can play an unexpected role in reality. The simplest one is that you can walk on any environment as if it were flat ground, whether it is a high-rise building or an ocean or lake, as long as you look, there is a smooth road. After a while, bang, bang, bang. There was a knock on the door. Su walked down from the wall and opened the door. Outside the door was a shadow clone carrying a bag. Without waiting for Su to speak, the shadow clone handed the bag to Su, and then disappeared with a bang. Chakra is exhausted. The memory of the shadow clone came back. Su shook her head with a slight frown, turned around, and closed the door. The bag contained things that the shadow clone had bought from the supermarket. After leaving the hotel, this guy walked around the neighborhood for a long time, which helped him explore the map and understand the environment. Unfortunately, it was too late and many places suitable for large purchases were closed. The shadow clone did not have much chakra, so he could only make a simple purchase in the supermarket and then come back. Although I didn't spend much money, I got the result. The expenses of the shadow clone were not counted on me. In other words, money can be spent, but points cannot. Su felt that the system was full of malice towards him. It was trying to turn him into a useless person who only knew how to spend money. Make money and have a shadow clone. When fighting, there are shadow clones. Miscellaneous matters, there are shadow clones. You only need to study one thing and focus on one thing, and that is, spending money. Isn't this kind of life too boring? I know all the ninjutsu, and this is an American TV series where supernatural powers are rampant, but all I can do is spend money. Su, who had gotten the advantage, decided to try a different method tomorrow. Since the shadow clone would not earn any points by using his card directly to make purchases, what about withdrawing the money from the card and giving it to the shadow clone as a gift or reward? Investing, donating, and consumption, all these ways earn points. My shadow clone doesn't earn me points for spending my money, so is it okay for me to donate the money to my shadow clone? Su found a place to put the bag down and continued to climb the tree. No, it was to practice climbing the wall. Not until he was exhausted and his chakra was about to run out did he go to the bedroom and fall asleep. The next day. The sun is shining and the breeze is gentle. For Su, this is the beginning of a new life. It is also a day full of energy and expectations. After getting up, taking a shower, having breakfast in the hotel restaurant and checking out, Su went straight to the nearest ATM and withdrew $10,000. Afterwards, he summoned a shadow clone in a deserted place and gave the shadow clone $10,000 as a gift. Opening the system panel, Su smiled. Sure enough, the shadow clone did not get any points by spending his own money directly, but when he gave money to the shadow clone, this behavior met the system standards and could generate points. However, the $10,000 that already belongs to the shadow clone should not generate any additional points no matter whether the shadow clone spends it or you spend it yourself. In other words, the system will not recognize that you spend other people's money, and no points will be generated. Find a deserted place to practice chakra control. Su took back the shadow clone's $10,000 and sent him to practice hard. This is my money. The shadow clone emphasized. What's the use of money for a shadow clone like you? You can eat, drink, or buy things with it. When the chakra is exhausted, everything is empty. So you have to know that your money is my money, and my money is still my money. Shadow clone, although I am not a human, you are a real dog. Su ignored the contemptuous look of the shadow clone, played a trick to make himself angry and transferred the money from his left hand to his right hand, and then walked out from the corner. He looked around and walked into a nearby fast food restaurant. Hello, what can I do for you? As soon as he sat down, a young blonde waitress stood in front of him with a menu. Large Coke, thanks. Su pulled out $100 bill from his pocket and handed it to the other party. I don't have change, the rest is your tip. This is so much. The waitress was stunned. A cup of Coke only costs a few dollars. Thank you very much for your generosity, but this is too much. Are you ordering something else? Su shook her head and politely declined the menu handed over by the other party, and said with a smile, do you have time? I want to ask something. You want to pursue me? The waitress was stunned and asked with a smile. Spending $100 to buy a cup of Coke and leaving the rest as a tip while asking some questions can easily be misunderstood as someone trying to strike up a conversation, especially when the waitress is quite nice. Su was speechless, smiled and shook her head. You are very beautiful, but I have no intention of considering love for the time being, so I misunderstood. The waitress smiled generously, without any grudges, although it was a misunderstanding. Your generosity still makes me very happy. Thank you. If you don't mind, I would like to pass this happiness on to more people. Su was a little curious, how to do it. Use the remaining money from your bill to buy a few meal combos and give them to people in need. Let them have a happy day like I did, the waitress explained with a smile. To the homeless? Is it so positive? Su asked with interest. I don't care, but I'm curious, have you always been so kind and generous? The waitress shrugged. You only ordered a Coke and didn't intend to pursue me, but you gave me so much tip. If it was just a few dollars, I would have accepted it. Believe me, I'm not that generous. I'm also very poor. P.S. This is the first time I write about super rich people. I have no experience and it is really hard to grasp the direction and scale. I originally wrote a story about pretending to be cool and then getting slapped in the face, but I changed it later. I am really not good at pretending to be cool and getting slapped in the face. I decided to go with a more positive energy and use salary to create happiness. In addition, please collect, give flowers, and reward. Chapter 7. The waitress came back with the food, put the Coke in front of Su, and sat down opposite him. What do you want to ask? There is a place surrounded by canyons and primeval forests. Bears often appear in the forests, and there are many abandoned gold and silver mines. Su recalled the plot of the Wen brothers' next stop and added, it should be a nearby prefecture or county. The waitress thought about it seriously. I know a place, the Blackwater Mountains in Lost Creek, Colorado, that basically fits your description. Are there any other places that might fit the bill? It shouldn't be there. There are canyons and forests, bears and abandoned gold and silver mines. It should be there. The waitress shook her head and asked curiously, are you planning a high school graduation trip? Judging from your age, you are a freshman at Stanford University? Then you should call me senior sister. Don't even think about calling you senior. I'm not a student of Stanford University. I just want to start my new life here and take a look at this new world that is both familiar and unfamiliar to me. Sue's lips curled up slightly to reveal a warm smile, exuding a yearning and positive temperament. At this moment, the waitress felt her heart pounding and she wanted to drop everything and travel with him across thousands of mountains and rivers. This is a very positive and sunny boy who can infect others with positivity and hope for the future. The waitress thought to herself and said, my name is Becky. Sue smiled cheerfully and said, so Becky, do you know where there's a car shop nearby? This question was easy for Becky. She described in detail the locations and reputations of several nearby car dealerships and also reminded some precautions. Sue nodded and wrote them down one by one. By the way, if I ask you to choose a number between 1 to 10, what would you choose? Pick a number between 1-10. Becky was a little confused and was stunned for a few seconds, looking at Sue's expectant eyes. 7. Most people would consider 7 as a lucky number. Okay. Sue smiled and took out $700 bills and placed them in front of the confused Becky, picked up the Coke, stood up and said, you deserve the tip. Don't be so generous this time. You are not that generous and poor Becky. 7 means $700 bills? Let me choose a number between 1 to 10. Which number is the tip amount for me? Becky was completely stunned. So 7 is really a lucky number? So this is how rich people tip? Are you sure? Becky couldn't help but ask. Certainly. $700, are you serious? Just a cup of Coke and a few questions. Becky couldn't believe it, this was ridiculous. Although she had only been working as a waitress for a short time, it was the first time Becky had seen anyone tip in such a way and with such a large amount. No, it was not just her first time seeing it, but also the other guests and waiters in the restaurant seeing it for the first time. For a moment, sounds of surprise, envy, oh my god and so on were heard one after another. Why? Becky asked dizzily. She couldn't understand why the other party did this. $700, plus the previous $100, $800 was enough for an ordinary family to live on for 2 or 3 months, but he just bought a cup of Coke? Perhaps, you can't imagine the happiness of rich people. Sue teased with a smile and walked towards the door to leave. Help others and make yourself happy. Sue felt that this positive way of spending money was more suitable for him than the old-fashioned way of pretending to be cool and getting slapped in the face. It was only $700 or $800 and he could earn it back in a few minutes, but the happy mood could last a long time. Whenever he thought of Becky's reaction at that time, he could even smile knowingly, which made him feel better. Moreover, when you help others, you will feel superior and vain, and you can also get thanks from them. The righteous will have many supporters, while the unrighteous will have few. Although Sue does not expect Becky to help him in the future, at least she will not mock him when he is down, or even add insult to injury. It's all about spending money and satisfying one's inner needs. Sue would rather be a wealthy man who is truly appreciated, has more style and class. Seeing Sue leave like this, Becky wanted to chase him, but she felt that it was useless to chase him. Today's experience would make her remember it for the rest of her life. The other party would appear in her mind and memory for a long time, but to the other party, maybe it was just a trivial matter? After all, he didn't even tell her his name. Bite. C-rank mission, kill the shape-shifting monster that's following you. Reward for completing the mission, transformation. Do you want to accept the mission? As soon as Seo came out of the restaurant, he received a task issued by the system. After accepting the task with a normal expression, he walked towards a remote alley nearby. The mission requirement is to kill the shapeshifter, and the reward is the transformation technique. I have to say, they complement each other. There are shapeshifters in many American supernatural TV series. The shapeshifters in Supernatural can transform into anyone at will and obtain the other person's memory. When they transform into another person, they will shed their skin. It can be seen from surveillance cameras that there is a flash of white light in their eyes. Shapeshifters have superb intuition and can smell humans and hear the sounds of their heartbeats and blood circulation. Doppelgangers will recover quickly from damage other than silver, but can be killed by silver and the Death Scythe. The Death Scythe is the weapon of the Death Knight in Supernatural, which is said to end everything, including God. There are shapeshifters in True Blood as well, but the difference is that most of them can only transform into various animals, they do not shed their skin when transforming, and they do not have obvious characteristics. Their bloodline can be inherited, and they can only transform into other humans after killing their relatives. However, after transforming into other humans, they will have a fever, vomit, and spit blood. Sue was very curious about what system of shapeshifters was following him. Of course, he would be happy no matter what system it was. After all, what he was most looking forward to and curious about now was discovering the people and things in different American TV series. Among them, supernatural powers were what he was most interested in and what he was most looking forward to at the moment. He really wanted to find an opponent to have a good fight with, to feel the charm of Naruto's ninjutsu, and to let ninjutsu shine in this world. By the way, the system also has the function of training ninjas. Although I don't know how to activate it for the time being, I can reserve the title of the ancestor of Chakra in advance, right? Teach ninjutsu and establish a ninja sect? This is the rhythm of becoming the six-path sage in the American TV drama world. Maybe I can change my name to Tsutsuki Sasama no Rokudo Sage Shi in the future? If I want to be more impressive, I can call myself a person from heaven? Otsutsuki is known as the man from heaven, and since I have a system, sooner or later I will be able to possess blood or physique that is even comparable to Otsutsuki's. Perhaps there is nothing wrong in calling him Otsutsuki Sua in advance. Otsutsuki Momoshiki, Otsutsuki Kinshiki, Otsutsuki Urashiki, Otsutsuki is Hiki. Otsutsuki Sushi? It sounds like there is nothing wrong with it. Chapter 8. Bang! Deep in the alley, Sue stopped and turned around, just wanting to have a good look at the first supernatural creature he encountered after traveling through time, but when he turned around, he saw Chongwei beating Lifu. Starting over again, when I turned around, I saw a tall blonde girl pushing a boy in a leather jacket to the ground from behind. What's going on? Someone is stealing monsters? Hey, be careful next time. Not everyone is like you who doesn't value money, and not everyone is so kind. Olivia blew her drooping bangs and reminded the boy who had a stunned look on his face, as if he didn't react to what happened. She had witnessed the whole process of Sue tipping Becky in the restaurant before. Most rich people are not good people, and money is the root of all evil. However, the boy's behavior was very interesting. Instead of being arrogant and charitable, it made her feel kind and touched. That's why he followed out when he found someone targeting him and took the initiative to help him resolve the danger brought about by his kindness. She is not a good person, and that is why she thinks good people should be rewarded and kind people should be treated gently. Thanks. Sushi, who probably guessed what was going on, smiled brightly, looked at the girl's hands, and pointed at the boy who had already climbed up from the ground with an even brighter smile, reminding him, "But you'd better stay away from it, this thing is not that easy to deal with." This thing? Olivia was a little surprised by the other party's choice of words, and then she saw the guy she had knocked down pounce on her with a ferocious look on his face. Olivia's face was slightly cold, and she leisurely took out a pistol from her waist. "You'd better calm down. I don't want to waste my time on you." Before she finished speaking, Olivia's expression suddenly changed. She dodged to the side nimbly, then pointed the gun downward and shot the opponent's leg directly with extraordinary decisiveness. A silencer was professionally installed on the muzzle of the gun, so the sound of the gunshot was not loud. The other party screamed, but his expression became even more ferocious, like an enraged beast, and pounced on Olivia again without any fear. "Damn it!" Olivia cursed and did not hold back, firing several shots at the other person. The other person fell to the ground, his body twitching, blood slowly oozing out of his wounds, and it was obvious that he was not going to survive. "Go quickly, I'll take care of the rest. Remember, this matter has nothing to do with you." "No, you don't know anything about it at all, understand?" Although Olivia was a little depressed, she was not panicked. She was experienced in dealing with such situations. So was not panicked either. The reason was not because he was knowledgeable or had encountered this kind of situation many times, but because he knew that the guy was not dead. A normal person would have died in the sun after being shot so many times, but he is a shapeshifter. Unless the object is made of silver, minor injuries can heal on their own, and major injuries can be healed by shedding the skin directly. There will be no more trouble after that. If the shape-shifting monster really died, so would be in a panic. If the monster was snatched away by someone else, the mission would not be completed. Although transformation technique is the most basic of the three body techniques, in this world, its practicality is much stronger than most powerful ninjutsu. "He's not dead, why leave?" Suo shook his head slightly and pointed at the guy again. "He's going to die soon. He's been shot multiple times. There's no way he'll survive. FK, what the hell is this thing?" Olivia, who had acted very cool and confident since her debut, finally failed. The corpse that was supposed to be lying on the ground and singing suddenly sat up strangely. He grabbed his head with both hands and actually peeled off a layer of skin. This weird and terrifying scene makes one's scalp tingle. Even though Olivia was knowledgeable and had seen countless corpses, she was still frightened by the scene and jumped up instantly like a cat with its fur standing on end. A shapeshifter, a supernatural creature that can take on the appearance of someone else. Normally, only silver objects can kill it. Suo took a few steps forward, stretched out his hand to pull Olivia behind him, then raised his head slightly and took a deep breath, while quickly forming seals with his hands. Fire style, great fire extinguishment. His throat felt hot, and he opened his mouth. A cluster of flames sprayed straight at the shape-shifting monster that was still shedding its skin. Boom! The flames turned into a sea of fire, instantly engulfing the shape-shifting monster and the entire alley. Flames shot down from the sky, the air evaporated quickly under the high temperature, and crackling sounds continued to ring out in the sea of fire. The heat wave hit Olivia, blowing her bangs and long hair back, and her slightly chubby face turned slightly red and hot from the smoke. The heat waves, the flames, the leaping sea of fire, the smell of burning that drifted over with the scorching wind, and the person standing in front of him, the culprit who caused all this. What is this?" Olivia muttered, slumping to the ground. "P.S. I recommend my old books, Marvel, The Coming of the King, Zombie Contract, The Strongest God of Death, Marvel, The Fruit of the Door, American Comics, The Strongest Villain, and KO1, The Strongest God of War. If it is troublesome to type the title of the book, you can directly look for my pen name on the site, Marvel King." Chapter 9. Hey! After a long sigh, looking at the gradually dying sea of fire and the deformed monster that was burned to charcoal, Suo rubbed his throat, which seemed to be still slightly hot, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise slightly. Although the range and power were not as amazing as when Madara released it in the anime, and although it consumed nearly 2/3 of his chakra, the effect made him excited and satisfied. The reminder sound of completing the task echoed in my ears, and screams caused by the sea of fire rising into the sky sounded nearby, and the sound seemed to be accompanied by heat waves. Suo turned around and looked at Olivia, who had stood up and calmed down a little, and secretly admired her in her heart. First it was the shape-shifting monster, and then the fire escape ninjutsu. If it were someone else encountering this situation, they would not be able to calm down so quickly. It can only be said that the protagonist is the protagonist, and the psychological quality is different. I saw the shapeshifter from Supernatural, and verified that powerful fire can kill it. I also met the protagonist of another American TV series. The tips I spent before were totally worth it. So I felt that time travel had completely changed his fate, and he was now possessed by a lucky guy. He encountered a surprise at the beginning of his new life. Both the shapeshifter and the blonde girl were caused by his large tip given on a whim. What does this mean? This shows that being a positive and wealthy person is the right thing to do. Good people will be rewarded. This is metaphysics. Get out of here first, and then tell me what's going on. Hearing the noisy sound approaching, Olivia whispered, "Follow me," and then turned and ran to the other end of the alley. So followed closely behind. 10 minutes later, 2 people came out of the alley, turned left and right, and finally stopped by the lake in the park. Go ahead. Olivia brushed her messy hair and looked at So calmly. Before I tell you, answer me a question first. Have you ever been to Midnight Town? So asked back. No. Olivia shook her head. So hummed and said with a smile, there are many supernatural creatures in this world. Vampires, werewolves, ghosts, demons, and even angels or gods are real. Like that thing just now. Shapeshifters are a relatively weak type of supernatural creature. There are more than one type of shapeshifters. The one just now can change into other people's appearances and can heal itself by shedding its skin. Usually, it can only be killed with silver. Although she found it unbelievable, she believed it. Olivia didn't see it transform into other appearances, but the scene of shedding its skin still made her scalp tingle when she recalled it now. Besides, she was confident in her marksmanship. Under normal circumstances, if she was shot several times at such a close distance, it would definitely die. Then, what about you? Olivia looked at So steadily. If the shapeshifter made her feel terrified, then the scene of So spitting out flames and directly spewing out a sea of fire was a shocking scene that shattered her worldview. Can humans breathe fire? Of course not, unless... Are you a magician? Olivia's eyes lit up, and she said to herself, since supernatural creatures like werewolves and vampires are real, then magicians should be real too, right? You can breathe fire because of magic, right? I saw you made a seal before you breathed fire. That's the magic seal for casting magic, right? Magician? Thanks, I am offended. However, magic and ninjutsu do have similarities. Magic is magic power, and ninjutsu is chakra. Both consume this special energy and use different styles to release different effects. I don't use magic, I use ninjutsu. I'm not a magician, I'm a ninja, just a chakra ninja that is different from the ordinary ninjas that the public knows. Sol looked at the bewildered Olivia and chuckled, forget it, you can just think of it as being similar to a magician. Anyway, I'm the only chakra ninja in the world, and I'm the only one who knows ninjutsu. Although I still don't quite understand, but, okay. Olivia suddenly curled her lips, if I had known that you could do magic, ninjutsu, I wouldn't have meddled in your business. So smiled slightly, let me tell you, you should be about the same age as me, right? You carry a gun with you, and you shoot so decisively, and you don't panic when you kill people. What do you do? What do you think? Olivia asked back. Killer. That's a good choice. Maybe I'll do this in the future. Olivia shrugged. Some don't care, some are free and easy, and some are self-degrading. I killed some people I considered scum and villain, some people I didn't have the ability to kill before and wanted to kill but couldn't. Olivia laughed at herself. The irony is that I'm not relieved by this, and nothing has changed. Well, I can't say nothing has changed. At least I'm homeless now and I don't know where to go or what to do. Maybe I should become a killer. Sad and powerless. This is the feeling that Olivia gives Sue now, especially when Sue knows what she has been through, this feeling is even more immersive. Olivia Charity, from Midnight, Texas. This is a supernatural American TV series with only 2 seasons. The story revolves around a remote town called Midnight Town, where there is a black vampire who does not suck blood but absorbs human emotional energy, a respected pastor who is a tiger man and turns into a tiger every full moon night, there is a witch who cannot fall in love, and a couple who are an angel and a demon, mixed race, who are of the same gender although they are of different races. In short, they are life-loving and approachable small-town residents during the day, and transform into vampires, witches, psychics, and killers at night. It is like a paradise for them, where they can hide their identities and avoid being hunted by their enemies. Almost everyone has a past that is difficult to escape and dark enemies. They are united and will help each other. At the same time, they also like to solve the problems in the town by themselves. Olivia, one of the residents of this small town, is the killer. Of course, she hasn't become a killer yet, nor has she settled in Midnight Town, otherwise she wouldn't be so shocked when she saw the shape-shifting monster in her own ninjutsu. P.S. Please give me flowers, collections and rewards. P.S. If you guys have any American TV series you want to watch, or any ideas, you can tell me in the book review section. Chapter 10. In terms of family background, Olivia should be a standard white, rich, and beautiful girl. Unfortunately, her mother died when she was 9 years old, and her father remarried. Her stepmother was a drug addict. After she lost control, her father found out and stopped giving her money. For the sake of money, her stepmother sold her to some scum with special fetishes while her father was away to make money. Olivia's life and destiny changed completely. After she grew up, Olivia killed those scumbags, ran away from home, and completely cut off ties with her father. Afterwards, he went to Midnight Town, was taken in by a vampire, became a killer, and also became a partner of the vampire. If you have no direction in life for now, just follow me first. Sue thought for a moment and said with a smile, I'm a worldly person now, and I'm ready to travel around. I need a driver. There's no salary, but I'll cover all the expenses. You have to spend the same as me. Are you interested? Do you want to help me, or do you have some other purpose? Olivia asked. Sue shrugged, I have a driver's license, but I can't drive. Olivia sneered, you have a driver's license but you can't drive? Who are you kidding? How did you get a driver's license if you can't drive? I have money. I hate rich people. Olivia cursed viciously and asked Sue, where is your car? No, you don't have a car, do you? She thought of Sue asking the waiter in the restaurant about the car dealership. Some of the questions he asked showed that he was a novice who had never bought a car. You guessed it right. As a reward, you can buy the car you like later. After all, you are the one driving it. Really? Any car will do. Olivia's eyes widened with excitement when she heard this. How much is the budget? Sue calculated and said, $100,000. Damn rich people. More than 2 hours later, the latest model Audi A8 drove out of the dealership. The license plate is in good condition and all formalities are complete. The car was sold for $120,000, and including purchase tax and some benefits for expedited registration, the total cost was about $140,000, which was a little over budget. Fortunately, Olivia spent a lot of time choosing a car, and Sue recovered some chakra. He went to the bathroom and quietly summoned another shadow clone, and asked the shadow clone to exercise frantically in the bathroom, doing some push UPS, sit UPS, and other exercises to speed up his heart rate. This was just enough time. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing for a rich man like him to buy a car for the first time. Boss, where are we going? Olivia turned her head and raised her eyebrows, looking at Sue who was in the co-pilot seat. Do you have any luggage? No. Then go straight to Colorado. Good. Olivia didn't ask the reason and concentrated on driving, while Sue opened the system panel. Host, Soul Level, LV1, Apprentice Ninja, $1 reward for each heartbeat, experience value, 0/10,000 points, 1,411 wealth, $1,024, withdrawal, item, broken sword, beheading sword ninjutsu, chakra refining technique, fire style, great fire extinguishment, nirvana's pure land technique, 8 diagrams palm, resurrection, super beast fake painting, watching predators, shadow imitation technique, multiple shadow clone technique, transformation technique constitution, bloodline limit, Byakugan after. Looking through the character panel, Sue opened the lottery section and started the lottery. Byte. Consume 100 points. Get the reward, Shuriken. Continue the lottery. Byte. Consume 100 points. Get the reward, Shuriken. Shuriken again? Sue was originally looking forward to the lottery, but in the end, this is it. Although Shuriken is a consumable item, the chance of winning is too high, isn't it? Forget it, let's do 10 consecutive draws. The ding-ding sound continued. After the sound stopped, Sue counted the rewards for 10 consecutive draws. Shuriken 3 Kunai 2 Detonator 2 Fuma Shuriken 1.10 Konoha Forward Guard *1 There is nothing much to say about the standard ninja tools such as Shuriken, Kunai, Fuma Shuriken, and detonating tags. The 10 points are just a consolation prize. What really interests Sua is the Konoha Forward Protector. In the anime, the Konoha Forward Protector is just a decoration and proof of ninja identity. To the Sua family, it should be the most worthless. However, the Forward Protector produced by the system has additional functions. Wearing it can speed up the recovery of chakra. The specific effect varies from person to person. At the same time, only those who wear Forward Protectors are recognized as ninjas by the system. In other words, Forward Protectors are the only tool to start training ninjas. Sua was looking forward to the lottery again. He had enough points left for 2 draws, so he just decided to draw them all. Bite. Consume 100 points. Get reward, scroll. Bite. Consume 100 points. Reward, Earth Escape and Submersible Flight. Scrolls are common props in Naruto. Ninjas can seal ninjutsu, props, and weapons and scrolls and summon them through summoning. The fake Super Beast painting requires a scroll as a basis, so Sua was very happy to draw the scroll. The special pen and ink required for the sealing ninjutsu of watching covetously were easy to get, but the scroll for painting and sealing could not be obtained. Earth Escape Technique, navigation in the earth, using chakra, the surrounding land is transformed into night body, homonymous word. After performing it, it is like cruising in the earth. This is a sea-level ninjutsu. It has little attack power, but it is extremely convenient for escaping and hiding. It is a strong supplement to Su's existing ninjutsu. P.S. I found the same difficulty I had when I wrote Zombie Contract. It is difficult to write by integrating the background of American TV series, and it is even more difficult to balance the 2 points of Naruto and the super rich. It took me 4 hours to write this chapter. I was really drunk. Maybe it's because I haven't started a new book for too long, and I'm feeling particularly anxious and worried, so I haven't recovered from my writing state. In addition, brothers, the results are not ideal. Don't forget to collect flowers or something, and I would be very grateful if you can give me a reward if you have the conditions. Chapter 11. It is nearly 1,600 kilometers from California to Colorado. Olivia and Sua drove for 7 days before they slowly arrived at their destination. Lost Creek, Blackwater Mountains. They booked 2 of the most expensive rooms in the best hotel in a nearby town. The waiter took several suitcases and delivered them to their rooms, and they received a tip far beyond the usual amount. When they left California, they traveled light, without luggage or even a change of clothes. They stopped along the way, and every time they passed a city or town, Sua would take Olivia to spend a lot of money. At first, Olivia was not used to Su's lavish spending. Compare prices from 3 different stores? No way. If you want to buy something, just buy the most expensive one. Don't worry about whether it is practical or not. Just buy it if you like it. Sometimes, when Olivia looked at something for a few more times, Sua had already swiped the card to pay, and she had no chance to refuse. The clothes, shoes, underwear, socks, etc. that the 2 of them usually wore were never washed and thrown away after being changed. This was the first time Olivia realized that these things were also disposable items. Sua bought more than a dozen of the most expensive and newest models of mobile phones and threw them in the car as backup. Even though Olivia clearly stated that she didn't need any of the latest models of luxury women's bags, Sua still bought a lot of them. In a word, one word. Purchase. Buy, buy, buy. Olivia felt as if the money Sua was spending was not his own. He didn't care at all about what was bought. He only cared about whether the money was spent and how much was spent. After being advised several times, Sua still insisted on doing as he pleased. Olivia didn't know where his money came from, but it was obvious that he had so much money that he didn't know what to do with it, so what was there to persuade her about? Sua really didn't know how to spend the money. In 7 days, he occasionally used his clone to make a clone, and earned a total of more than $1.3 million. Even though he was extravagant and didn't buy the right things but only the expensive ones, he only spent less than a fraction of $300,000. Spending money is indeed a technical job. Spending money in a planned and meaningful way is the skill that Sua needs to master most at present. Spending money aimlessly is too much like a nouveau riche, and his temperament is not up to par. Night, deep. Bang. Sua summoned his shadow clone and asked him to stay in the room to continue practicing chakra control. He walked to the window and took advantage of the night to quietly walk down the wall to the ground. Earth escape, submerge in the earth. Seal and release. The originally hard ground beneath his feet turned into quicksand, and Sue's body sank into the quicksand, diving towards the forest in the black water mountains in the distance. Dark night, silent forest. Sue dived underground and soon found an abandoned mine. He surfaced, drilled out of the ground, and lifted the submergence control. He looked at the mine entrance that looked like the mouth of a ferocious beast, and his eyes widened. White eyes, open. In an instant, the originally dark and invisible environment turned into snow white, and everything in sight was transparent and three-dimensional. The environment in the mine is clearly visible and under control. There is supposed to be a supernatural creature in this mine called the man-eater monster, whose name comes from the ancient Indian language, a gluttonous demon. Every man-eating monster was once a human being, perhaps an Indian, a miner, a pioneer or a hunter. When the cold winter came, they had no supplies and were extremely hungry, so in order to survive they began to cannibalize their own kind, eating people from their own tribe or village. If they ate enough, they would turn into man-eating monsters when they had eaten a certain amount. The man-eating monster can imitate human voices, has sharp claws, and moves very fast. It hides in this dense primeval forest, and even the best hunters will become its prey. In terms of danger level, the man-eater is more dangerous than the shapeshifter. The danger of shapeshifters is that they can transform into anyone and launch a sneak attack, making them hard to defend against and difficult to kill with conventional methods. Man-eating monsters are fast and have sharp claws, making them equally difficult to kill with conventional means. Not to mention this open and well-covered environment, even if you fight one-on-one in a closed environment, you'll basically be in danger of death. Sue originally planned to meet the Wen brothers by chance and then work together to deal with the man-eating monster. After all, the man-eating monster's weakness is fire. With the help of the Wen brothers, they could find the right opportunity to extinguish the monster with a powerful fire. The man-eating monster is fast and agile. I currently don't know any physical skills and my reaction ability needs to be improved. If I fight him one-on-one, the probability of him capsizing is very high. With the underground diving and the detonating talisman, Sue felt more confident and thought he could give it a try. As long as he was not killed instantly, he could use the underground diving to escape, or use the detonating talisman to fight back. Found it! A tall and slender figure appeared in Bai Yan's sight. Sue's mouth curled up slightly, and she was about to suppress the excitement in her heart, but suddenly she found that there was more than one figure in her sight. Just a few hundred meters away from this figure, several figures gathered together. Judging from their postures, they should be hung up. These figures are relatively shorter, more in line with the height of normal humans. There is a female among them, and several others have no signs of life and are dead. Did I remember the time wrong? The plot clearly stated that the Winchester brothers came here a week after Sam's girlfriend died, and then went into the mountains with the heroine of this episode, Haley, to look for her brother who went missing while camping. According to the time, it should be tomorrow? How come it's earlier? Although the identities of these people are uncertain, if nothing unexpected happens, they should be the Wen brothers and Haley and their group. Sue was very glad that she had arrived early. Otherwise, missing the chance encounter with the Wen brothers would be a small matter, but having the man-eating monster dealt with by the Wen brothers would be a big deal. After all, if she missed this opportunity, she wouldn't know when she would meet them again. P.S. Brothers, if you haven't collected it yet, please click to collect it. The data of the new book period is very important. I haven't opened a new book for such a long time and I am now super nervous. Chapter 12. In the dark mine, several people were hanging on ropes with their hands raised high. The cold wind brought a slight rustling sound, and the piles of bones not far away trembled slightly. The ground turned into quicksand and Sue floated up. It's them. The people hanging in front of them were the Wen brothers, Haley, and others. Sue looked at the unconscious Wen brothers and recalled the plot. The Wen brothers came here according to the coordinates left by their father, and happened to hear that 3 boys were missing while camping in the forest. They then began to investigate and went into the mountains with Haley, who was looking for her younger brother, Haley's other younger brother, and a hunter hired by Haley. After entering the mountain, they found the camping site of the 3 boys. The tents were destroyed and blood was everywhere. The Wen brothers realized something was wrong, but the hunter had a gun and was experienced, so he didn't believe the Wen brothers' warnings at all. Then the hunter was lured out and killed by the cannibal monster. The rest of the people fled, and Dean and Haley were captured by the cannibal and taken back to the mine. Sam and Haley's other brother followed the clues left by Dean to find the mine and found them. After several dangerous encounters, Dean finally shot the cannibal with a signal gun, causing it to burn to death. The man-eating monster's weaknesses are fire and Anasazi marks, ancient Indian symbols. Now, the fact that the plot happened one day earlier can be regarded as a butterfly effect. After all, I reminded the Wen brothers that the yellow-eyed demon was about to come to their door, so it was normal for them to speed up the search for their father, but she didn't understand how they were wiped out and killed in one fell swoop. The hanging people, the Wen brothers, Haley and Haley's two younger brothers, they were all still alive. Then there was a man in camouflage uniform, fully armed, probably the hunter Haley hired. He was dead, and next to him were two blood-stained boys hanging, probably the other two boys who camped with Haley's brother. They were already dead. Is this a plot hack? The important ones are all dead, but the irrelevant extras are all dead. So complained, and walked up to Dean and slapped him on the face. Delang, it's time to take your medicine. Dean blinked his eyelids and opened his eyes. He took a deep breath. What a scary pair of white eyes. Wait. White eyes. Dean's consciousness suddenly became clear. It's you. Dean recalled the fear of being dominated by the white eyes. Why are you here? Dean looked around in surprise and soon found his brother and others. Sam, wake up, Sam. Shua. A cold light flashed, and Dean fell to the ground with a muffled sound. Sue handed over the kunai. Take them out first. What about you? Dean took it and was stunned for a moment, then said, there's a man-eating monster here, it's hard to deal with. I'll put them down first and let Sam take them out. I'll stay and help you. Whatever. Sue did not refuse and turned around to find the man-eating monster first. Turning on the white eyes is like turning on the perspective cheat in playing PUBG. Environmental factors can be ignored. At a glance, no matter how complicated the mine is or how dark the environment is, it has no effect on him at all. A few minutes later, Sue and the man-eating monster were within touching distance of each other. If he played a sneaky trick and waited for the man-eating monster to come over, and then directly extinguished it with a powerful fire, the man-eating monster would probably not be able to react. A signal gun with enough power could kill a man-eating monster, let alone a powerful fire. Sue felt that his mentality needed to be adjusted. He seemed to have underestimated his own strength, or overestimated the cannibal monster. Just the Byakugan and Huhuo extinguishing ambush should be able to easily deal with the man-eating monster. If all else fails, the shadow clone can grab the detonating talisman and rush over to die together. After reweighing the strength of both sides, Sue felt that his safety should be no problem and decided to take this opportunity to hone himself. Experience in fighting enemies is something that needs to be accumulated. How did the Wen brothers' Where's Dad come about? That was a training trip prepared by the Wen family's father for them. After a long sigh, Sue's eyes flashed with excitement and nervousness as he stared at the man-eating monster that was about to appear around the corner. He flipped his hands, and 5 shurikens were ready to be launched. In the darkness, a tall and slender figure appeared at the corner. He was skinny and had no hair on his head. Although his body shape and facial features were similar to those of a human, his face was like a devil. His skin was hard and dry, and his hands were like animal claws, with long and sharp nails. Shuriken, throw all out jutsu. Sue shouted softly and threw the shuriken directly at the man-eating monster. He swore he was aiming for the ogre's head. Eyes, aim for the head. Hand, aiming. Result. Although the shurikens hit the man-eating monster, only one hit its face and did not break its defense. The other shurikens avoided the target perfectly, either hitting the man-eating monster's body or the nearby mine wall. Jingle, jingle, scattered all over the ground. The man-eating monster was stunned at first, as if it didn't expect that there was a fish that had escaped the net in its home, and even dared to attack it. It roared angrily, and its claws flashed with cold light, and it rushed directly towards Sue. Jiraiya is really unreliable. Sue concentrated his Byakugan power to stare at the movements of the man-eating monster, holding the kunai extracted from the system. When the man-eating monster swung its claws to grab it back, he seized the opportunity to dodge sideways. His face brushed past the claws, and an indescribable smell that made people feel sick rushed into his nose. Sue slid and turned, holding the shuriken in both hands and stabbed the cannibal in the back. Puff! The shuriken pierced the back of the cannibal half an inch and then stopped, unable to penetrate deeper. The cannibal howled after being stabbed in the back, turned around angrily and swung his claws. In a flash, So found that he was surprisingly calm. He squatted down to avoid the sweep, and then a huge knife suddenly appeared in his hand. He clenched his hands, stood up, and slashed at the ogre's arm from bottom to top. Broken sword, beheading sword. P.S. Please give me flowers, collections and rewards. Chapter 13. Crack. The beheading sword slashed into the cannibal's arm, and so felt the resistance caused by the friction between the blade and the bone. The man-eating monster has high defense and hard bones, and my strength is not enough to completely cut off its arm, which can be seen from the effect of the shuriken backstab before. So was not surprised. After all, he didn't know any physical skills and had never done any systematic training to strengthen his body. In terms of strength alone, he was just like an ordinary person. It is obvious that ordinary people's strength is not enough to cut off the arms of supernatural creatures like the man-eating monster. Su's current goal is not to kill the man-eating monster, otherwise the fire-extinguishing talisman or the detonating talisman would have been arranged long ago. He wants to train his reaction ability and increase his combat experience. Now, the monsters are relatively easy to deal with, such as shapeshifters and man-eating monsters. If you encounter vampires, ghosts, and the like in the future, reaction ability will be particularly important. It would be fine if you had the Sharingan or the speed and reaction ability of a ninja in anime, but if not, the speed of a vampire is really tricky. So felt that with his current abilities, he would be fine after making preparations in advance. However, if he was attacked by surprise or in an encounter, he would at most be invincible, just like two weaklings pecking at each other. It would not be so easy to kill the other party. It's not that Su is getting cocky, nor is it that he is greedy. As soon as he thinks he can deal with the man-eating monster, he immediately targets the vampire. He just doesn't want to feel aggrieved. Well, maybe Su's definition of being aggrieved is different. Not being able to kill the opponent easily can be considered aggrieved. When the first attack failed, Su did not retreat but advanced towards the angry and ferocious cannibal, and began to fight with the cannibal at close range in the not-so-spacious mine tunnel. Taking advantage of his body shape and observing with his white eyes, although it seemed dangerous, Su's experience and reaction ability were indeed improving rapidly. His original nervousness had long disappeared, replaced by incomparable calmness. He even started to fight back while dodging. Whether it was hands, feet, or other parts of the body, Su dodged and found the right opportunity to attack with the beheading sword. That's right, it's a beheading sword. Although the beheading sword failed to cut off the cannibal's arm, it cut very deeply. The angry cannibal did not pull out the beheading sword. It now had only one thought in mind, which was to kill Su. Bang! Another palm strike landed on the beheading sword. This palm had been accumulating power for quite a while, and it directly caused the beheading sword to sever the last connection of the cannibal's arm. Bang! The beheading sword fell to the ground, and the cannibal's arm fell off with it. The man-eating monster endured the pain and did not howl. His already ferocious eyes flashed with murderous light, and he desperately pounced on Su, who sacrificed his dodging space for this punch. Now, Su was not surprised but happy. The chakra points in his body released soft fist chakra. At the same time, he swung his arms and rotated his body, starting to spin in a circle like a top. In an instant, a hemispherical chakra shield enveloped Su, making it airtight. Bagua palm, return to heaven. Bang! The man-eating monster hit the chakra shield and was directly sent flying by the high-speed rotating Kaiden, like a leaf in the wind or a boat in the tsunami, swaying and shaking, and hit the ceiling of the mine directly at an extremely fast speed. With a loud bang, the entire mine seemed to shake, and then rubble and wood fell from top to bottom onto the man-eating monster that had already landed. In a blink of an eye, dust filled the air and the man-eating monster was crushed underneath, with only its hideous and terrifying head sticking out, baring its teeth and looking dazed. I finally have a chance to try to turn the world around. Absolute defense is indeed very strong, but it consumes a bit of chakra. Su withdrew his hand and glanced at the Konoha forehead protector that he had put on his left arm as a decoration. Then he stretched out his arm and grabbed with his palm. Call out the beheading sword that had fallen to the ground suddenly disappeared, and the next moment, it strangely appeared in Su's hand. This is a small detail of the system that Su discovered some time ago. As long as it is a non-consumable item produced by the system, it can be recovered instantly no matter where it is. I discovered this little detail because I was practicing shuriken while taking a break on the road. The shuriken flew a little far as it wanted to be free, and Su was a little lazy, so he tried to see if the system could recover it. Holding a knife and stepping on the rubble and wood, Sue stood on the cannibal monster that was pinned down, holding the knife with both hands, and slashed hard at its head. One time. One time. One time. Raise up and fall down. After slashing dozens of times, he finally cut off the cannibal monster's head. The shapeshifter will be killed by a powerful flame, and the man-eating monster will also die if its head is chopped off. It seems that the fatal weaknesses of supernatural creatures are not so absolute. There must be many people who have killed man-eating monsters, but there is probably no one who has swung a knife and chopped it on the head dozens of times like Sue did. After all, there is a difference in strength. Most people who want to kill a man-eating monster will definitely use the simplest method with the highest success rate, and have no chance to try anything else. Even if someone knew that chopping off a man-eating monster's head could kill it, they probably wouldn't tell others. After all, this method is not something that everyone can use, and the success rate is too low. It would be simpler to just tell others to use fire. You're here. Sue put the beheading sword back into the system, looked up at Dean who came over with a signal gun and wanted to help, and said with a smile, "You are late." Dean took a look at the cannibal monster with its head and body separated, opened his mouth and remained silent. Real beheading sword. P.S. I am still asking for collections and rewards. The total reward is only 988. Is there any brother who can help me break 1000? Chapter 14. Bite. Kill reward, 1 point. The sudden notification sound made Sue stunned. The system actually had a setting for rewards for killing? Why didn't the previous shapeshifters have this? The missions have been determined to be completed, and the enemy must have been killed, so why is there no kill reward? Is it because the shapeshifter doesn't count as a kill target for the kill bonus? Or is it because the quest objective and the kill target can't be counted at the same time? Dean started to speak but couldn't continue. On the one hand, Sue actually killed the man-eating monster with a knife, and the knife mysteriously disappeared. On the other hand, he didn't know what attitude to use towards Sue. A week ago, he and Sam misunderstood that Sue was a demon and the murderer of their mother and Sam's girlfriend. Then Sue taught him a lesson using the shadow binding technique and the Nirvana abode technique, and also made them see the cold stare. Sue said he wanted to make friends with them, and reminded them that the yellow-eyed demon was coming soon and that Sam's girlfriend still had a chance to be resurrected. Although they were skeptical, Sam kept some of his girlfriend's DNA. Along the way, they had speculated a lot about Sue's identity and purpose, but they knew nothing about Sue and had no way of judging. Then, Sue mysteriously appeared again and saved them. What a coincidence! It was as if he knew where he and Sam would appear. How did you do that? I mean, I just saw the knife, how come it's gone? Ninjutsu. That ninjutsu of a ninja. The things you did to control Sam and put us to sleep, were they also ninjutsu? And your eyes, you said they were bloodline limits, one of the 3 great eye techniques, is that also a ninjutsu? I remember it very clearly. Sue smiled and motioned Dean to leave first, saying as he walked, "My ninjutsu is different from ordinary ninjutsu. It is a ninjutsu released by a kind of energy seal called Chakra, which is easy to distinguish. I can be considered a Chakra ninja. Chakra is a type of energy that is created by the perfect fusion of physical energy and spiritual energy in the body's cells. Not everyone has Chakra, and not everyone can become a Chakra ninja. If there is a chance, Sue would actually like to try to train tangible supernatural creatures such as vampires and werewolves into ninjas. If successful, this would also be considered a bloodline limit, right? What is a bloodline limit? A skill that is inherited through blood ties and genes. The key point is genes. When a vampire or a werewolf transforms, their genes also change completely. This change is fixed and mostly irreversible, so vampires and werewolves are actually also considered bloodline limits, but they are not the kind of bloodline limits that ninjas in Naruto know. Who are you? Although Dean was very curious about Chakra and Chakra ninjas, he wanted to find out more about Sue's identity. I know what you want to ask. I have nothing to do with your family's affairs. It's just that I know a little bit more and I'm interested in your future experiences, so I contacted you. Sue suddenly stopped and said, "Let's stop here." What do you mean? Dean was stunned. See you next time. Sue smiled meaningfully, and the ground beneath his feet turned into quicksand. Under Dean's stunned gaze, he slowly sank down and disappeared. No, it's gone. Dean looked at the ground that had returned to normal and stepped on it tentatively. It was very solid and there was no way anyone could fall on it. Bang! He subconsciously slapped his face. It's not a dream, nor is it an illusion, it's really, really gone. Suo in the underground noticed Dean's actions and shook his head in silence. This guy is a bit stupid. The encounter was successful, but Suo did not plan to go with them for the time being. They didn't know where the next stop would be or what they would encounter. Did Suo know? The water ghosts, also known as water ghosts, were bullied by their peers when they were young and drowned in the water. Their bodies sank into the lake. Many years later, they began to take revenge. One of them drowned his swimming champion daughter, son, and himself one after another. Another son had also been drowned earlier, and his daughter-in-law and grandson also almost died. In the end, he exchanged his own life for his grandson's, jumping into the river and calming the water ghost's resentment. The biggest role played by the Wen brothers in the whole process was to investigate the reason why the water ghost killed people and rescued a mother and son. As for solving the problem of the water ghost? Sorry, there is no corpse to burn, I can't do it. Suo was more interested in the next adventure of the Wen brothers, which involved a demon and a face he recognized. We still have to seize the time to become stronger. Work hard to spend money, work hard to become stronger, this is my ninja way. After returning to the hotel, Suo took a shower and lay on the bed thinking about how to spend money more reasonably and efficiently. I had read a few novels about super rich people before I traveled through time, but the environment, national conditions, and currency values were different, so many ways of spending money were difficult to apply. Take buying a car for example, an Audi A8 costs around $1 million in Daxia, right? What about here? I can buy one in one day, even without using the shadow clone. You will definitely continue to buy cars, but the main source of spending should be on buying houses. Buy a house in a big city, in the most luxurious area. In the United States, even if you buy a house in full, you still have to pay property tax every year. The better the location and the higher the value, the more tax you pay. The tax amount varies in each state, but the maximum will not exceed 3%. If you buy a house for 10 million, you will have to pay 300,000 in taxes every year. 10 houses will be 3 million, and 100 houses will be 30 million. This is a considerable fixed expense. Add to that property fees, management fees, and miscellaneous expenses, and you still have to pay this money even if you don't live in the house. Suo had heard a rumor that if someone had lived in an uninhabited house for more than 5 years, he could obtain ownership of the house. In simple terms, the house would belong to him from then on. In this case, do you need to hire someone to look after the house regularly? If you have many houses, it will be a considerable expense. This is very nice. Chapter 15. I didn't hear you clearly just now. Can you tell me again? Where are you going? Olivia put down her coffee and looked at Suo expressionlessly. New York. I drove for a week, from California to Colorado, and I just slept for a while, and you told me I'm going to New York next. Olivia stood up and glared at Suo. Are you kidding me? Suo shook his head. How is that possible? Then explain to me why you came from California to Colorado, and then stayed here for one night before going to New York? What's the point of coming all the way here? Explain. I'm a wealthy man, why should I explain to others what I have done in my life? I went out last night and accidentally solved the target that I was supposed to solve today. Suo explained seriously, the man-eating monster, the name comes from the ancient Indian language, also known as the greedy devil, and some people call it the Wendigo snow monster. Olivia's expression softened, a little curious. Suo described the man-eating monster vividly and talked about the experience last night. Finally, he said helplessly, I originally planned to take a look at the situation first and take you to see it today. I didn't expect someone to be killed. I had no choice but to take action. But you don't have to be disappointed. Although I didn't see the man-eating monster, are you interested in the demon? Olivia pouted. Shapeshifters, man-eating monsters, demons, do you mean looking for these supernatural creatures everywhere when you say you want to travel around the world? Are you suddenly going to New York because you know there are demons in New York? Demons are everywhere. Suo shook his head. I went to New York because it was closer to where I knew the demons appeared, and I bought a few houses by the way. Several buildings. What could Olivia say? I can only say, you are worthy of it. Do you know how far this place is from New York? Do you know how long it takes to drive there? Olivia complained unhappily while looking for the route on the map. Seeing this, Su raised the corner of his mouth slightly. After spending some time together, he already knew what kind of person Olivia was. If nothing else, she was definitely a tough-mouthed person with a soft heart. Driving to New York is too slow. Go to the airport in Denver and take a plane to New York. Su reminded. What should I do with the car? Should I ship it or come back to pick it up? I don't know where my next stop will be. It's too troublesome to come back to pick it up. I'll buy a house in Denver to store my car. Then I'll have a place to live and a car to drive when I come here again in the future. It's too troublesome to come back to pick up the car, so I just bought a house to store the car. What kind of crazy thing is this? You know what? I really want to beat you to death right now. Olivia said, gritting her teeth. Su smiled and waved his hands. Calm down, it's just a basic condition, you will get used to it slowly. If you become a killer in the future, you will definitely travel all over the country, right? You will definitely need a place to stay, right? You will definitely need a car to get around, right? It's okay to prepare early. Is there nothing wrong with this? Olivia was too exhausted to complain. Su and Olivia packed up their things and left the hotel for Denver. Denver is an incorporated city-county in Colorado and the state's capital and largest city. The environment along the way is very nice and the scenery is beautiful, but once you enter the city, that's it. What's the budget this time? Olivia parked the car in front of a real estate company and turned to ask Su. You can choose anything below 1 million. Although they only had a little over $1 million in total, and they were planning to buy a house in New York, Su was not in a hurry at all. At most, he would keep an eye on Olivia to make sure she didn't exceed the budget again when buying a car, or her shadow clone would have a problem with it. As soon as I entered, a female salesperson in professional attire greeted me enthusiastically. When doing sales, you must have a good vision. Although Su and Olivia are not very old, they are dressed in dazzling branded clothes. From clothes to shoes, from bags to accessories, every piece is a branded one. Hello, both of you. How can I help you? A warm voice sounded before the person even arrived. Listen, it's not about what you need, but what I can do for you. This is the art of speaking. Please help me select one. The size of the house doesn't matter, as long as the location is not too remote and it has to have a garage. We are in a hurry, so it would be best if all the procedures can be completed in a short time. If not, you can come forward to help me with the procedures. I can't come back in a short time. Su stated his request. The saleswoman was delighted and smiled even brighter. What about the budget? Under 1 million. The saleswoman extended her hand and invited the two to the lounge area. Please wait a moment, I will bring the houses that meet your requirements for you to choose from. After saying that, the saleswoman said hello to her colleague not far away and asked her to bring 2 cups of coffee. Then she praised the taste of her own coffee to Su and Olivia before turning and leaving. As soon as the coffee was delivered, the saleswoman came over with a folder in her arms. Sorry to have kept you waiting. The saleswoman squatted down beside Su, opened the folder and introduced it, saying, these are carefully selected houses that meet your requirements. They have detailed information about the houses and photos of the interior and exterior. You can come and see the houses at any time. Su took a few glances and found that the information was indeed detailed, the photos were complete, and there were all kinds of types. There are townhouses, single-family villas, apartments, and even small farms, and they all meet the requirements set by the Su family. You choose. Su leaned back slightly on the sofa, looking like she left it to you. You're the one buying the house. Olivia looked at Su, who had become a hands-off boss again, and was a little speechless. I was asked to choose the car, and I am also asked to choose the house. You can drive the car you choose, and you can live in the house you choose, if you want, of course you can live in it. Anyway, it's just for the car, so you can choose, and I'll just be responsible for spending the money. Buying a car or a house for the first time should make you very excited and you certainly won't let anyone else do it for you. But Su really didn't have that feeling. He didn't buy a house for the real purpose of buying a house, and he didn't spend money for the real purpose of spending money. Who could understand his good intentions? He did it to become stronger. P.S. I finally finished writing the 5th chapter of Today Before Midnight. Please give me flowers, collections and rewards. Chapter 16. The conversation between Su and Olivia easily gives people the impression that they are a couple, or an intimate relationship between a man and a woman. In fact, both were pure as snow. Although they lived and traveled together, they always booked 2 rooms in a hotel. Sue had previously told Olivia that his consumption level was the same as his, and that meant he had not given her any discount at all. Whatever Sue's has, Olivia definitely has, and whatever Sue's doesn't have, Olivia also has. Sue has not considered the idea of love for the time being. For now, the attraction of women is not as strong as ninjutsu, supernatural creatures, or discovering Easter eggs related to other American TV series. In Sue's heart, Olivia is a driver, a friend, and a tool that helps him spend money to become stronger. There is a good impression, but it is limited to this and has nothing to do with the relationship between men and women. Olivia naturally had a good impression of Sue, otherwise, even if she lost her way in life, she would not really stick with Sue. But what about the relationship between men and women? Going one step further? Olivia hadn't thought about it. It's not that Sue is not good enough, nor that the two of them are not suitable, but that she has never considered starting a relationship at all. It is precisely because of this that the two of them have been getting along so harmoniously and purely during this period of time, and their relationship has become more familiar and their feelings have become deeper. The saleswoman's expression didn't change at all, she kept the smile she had at the beginning, as if she hadn't heard anything. But in my heart, there are 2 words written in capital letters: envy. I envy Olivia for being given a house and a car, and I envy the rich who buy a house just to put their car in it. I am too lazy to even choose a house when buying one. What does this mean? This means that buying a house is definitely not a big deal for others. The female salesperson thought that if it were her, she would have to have bought at least 7 or 8 houses to be so calm, right? This is the life of rich people, simple and unpretentious. Sue didn't know what the saleswoman was thinking. If she knew, she would definitely ask her to open her eyes wide and take a good look. Wearing all those dazzling brand names, is this what you call simple and unpretentious? You have to have bought more than 7 or 8 houses to be so calm. This is my first time buying a house, and this is my first property. Supplementing your own imagination is the most deadly. Of course, it doesn't matter what the saleswoman thinks. It's just selling a house, there's no need for that much drama. Olivia selected a single-family villa and motioned to Sue, "How about this one?" Sue took a quick look and simply asked the saleswoman, "How long will it take to get it done?" 4 hours. I guarantee that all the procedures can be completed in 4 hours. The female salesperson assured hastily. That's it. In less than 20 minutes, the transaction of $630,000 was completed. The saleswoman hurriedly began to process the formalities, a process that could be described as swift and decisive, and quite resourceful. As we all know, the efficiency of work in the United States can be summed up in one word: slow. You have to make an appointment several weeks in advance to install an air conditioner, and it takes several weeks to apply for a bank card. What about real estate procedures? Haha, don't think about it for another month. If you want speed, you have to spend money. Under normal circumstances, unless it is a super large transaction, the buyer must pay for the expedited payment, just like when buying a car before. But the female salesperson never explicitly or implicitly told Sue that he needed to pay during the whole process, which was very smart. 3 hours later, all the formalities were completed and Sue owned his first property after traveling through time. If you need anything else, you can always contact me. When the female salesperson handed the relevant documents and keys to Sue, she also put a business card of her own. Sue handed the documents and keys to Olivia, opened her wallet and put the saleswoman's business card away. The saleswoman's eyes lit up and her smile became even brighter. It's not that the saleswoman has any improper thoughts, although she could have some, but she wants to keep in touch with the Sue company more. Of course, she has to win over such a wealthy and straightforward client. After putting away the business card, Sue did not close his wallet. Instead, he took out a thick stack of green US dollars from it. I forgot the exact amount, 20,000? 30,000? Anyway, thank you for your service, this is your service fee. Sue handed it to the saleswoman with a smile, then turned around and prepared to leave with Olivia. The saleswoman's reaction was much faster than the waitress Becky's, and she immediately ran over to open the door in advance. Thank you for your recognition. If you need anything, you can call me at any time. My phone is always on 24 hours a day. Sue nodded slightly and got into the car with Olivia. When the car drove away, the female salesperson was still standing at the door and hadn't gone in. Her phone is on 24 hours a day. You can call her anytime if you need anything. Tisk tisk, if you call her in the early morning, do you think she will keep her promise? Olivia joked while driving. How come good words become sour in your mouth? Be more honest and sunny. Even if she goes to the date, I won't hit her. Real. What do you think? Are you sick? Or is there something wrong with your sexual orientation? Why don't you look like a man at all? You are sick, you have a problem with your sexual orientation, you don't look like a woman. I said you're not like a man because you don't seem to be interested in women. I'm so beautiful and you don't have any interest in me. You don't act like a woman. I'm so rich, but you don't have any ideas. FK. Olivia cursed angrily, then, not knowing what she was thinking of, she laughed again. P.S. I would like to thank several brothers for their rewards and urging votes for updates. Although the results are not ideal and I have been worried about the new book, your support has kept me from losing confidence and let me know that there are still people supporting me. Chapter 17. It's right here. Olivia looked outside for a few seconds, and after making sure, she turned off the engine and stopped the car. This is a typical European and American-style villa with 2 floors, a garage, and an attic. Although there is no enclosed courtyard, the lawn in front of the house is large, giving people a green and vibrant feeling. Entering the house, you will find all the basic furniture and facilities. It is covered with a white dust cloth and the floor is relatively clean, and you can tell that it is cleaned regularly. The first floor has a living room, dining room, kitchen, and bathroom, with a door on the right leading to the garage. The second floor has 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a hidden ladder at the edge of the corridor leading directly to the attic. Overall, I am quite satisfied. Boom boom boom. Just when Sue wanted Olivia to park the car in, there was a knock on the door. Olivia went over to open the door. There were 3 people standing outside the door, a man, a woman, and a little girl. Hi, my name is Amy, this is my husband Bob and my daughter Teddy, and we live next door. Hi. Bob smiled and nodded to the 2 of them. The little girl waved her hand. Hello, I'm Teddy. Teddy, is that a serious name? My name is Sushi, this is Olivia, hello. Sushi responded with a smile. This is the apple pie I made. You're welcome to move in. Amy handed the gift she brought to Olivia and asked enthusiastically, I don't think I saw your luggage. When will you officially move in? I can introduce you to the neighbors nearby. They are all very nice people. Or you can hold a party. The community hasn't held a party for a long time. No party, no America. In the United States, all kinds of parties emerge in an endless stream, and most people's lives, work, friendships, and entertainment are closely connected with parties. Sue declined Amy's offer and explained, we won't be staying here permanently in the short term. In fact, we'll be heading to the airport after parking the car, and we're not sure when we'll be back. Oh, it's okay. Whenever you are ready to move in, we can all help. Amy said with a smile, I am a nurse, Bob runs a pest control company, and is also the coach of the school basketball team. What about you? It's an investment industry. Buying houses, buying a lot of houses, should this also be considered as investing in the real estate industry? Although it is just buying, it will not sell at all. Do you know anyone from a cleaning company? They do regular cleaning, mowing the lawn, and maintaining the house. Sue paused for a moment and continued, if you have time and are willing, I can give it to you. I don't know the cost of the cleaning company, but I am willing to pay you at this rate. You are the first neighbor I have contacted. In our Eastern world, there is a saying that a distant relative is not as good as a close neighbor. A distant relative is worse than a close neighbor. I like this saying. Bob said with a smile, since you are willing to trust us, we are also happy to take on this job. I will ask for the specific cost and then tell you. In addition, pest control is free and will not be included in the cost. Thanks. Sue exchanged mobile phone numbers with Bob and gave him a key. He was also ready to sign a contract with Sue to show his seriousness, but Sue refused. Forget about the contract. If it's not too much trouble, could you take us to the airport? Of course, no problem. Bob agreed without hesitation. Olivia drove the car into the garage, packed up the suitcases they were going to take, and went to the airport with Sue in Bob's big pickup truck. A few hours later, Sue and Olivia took a taxi from Kentucky Airport to the Condor Hotel in Brooklyn. It was Sue's decision to go to Brooklyn, and the Condor Hotel was recommended by the driver. Arriving at the hotel, Sue was somewhat disappointed. The driver had said a lot of fabulous things, but the grade and environment of the hotel were not that high-end, and the price was very affordable. A one-bedroom king-size suite, covering 50 square meters, is priced at less than $1,000. From another perspective, the driver really didn't cheat anyone. This price and this level are really good. After booking 2 suites and withdrawing some cash from the hotel's ATM, Sue and Olivia went back to their rooms to settle down. Half an hour later, they left the hotel with the surrounding guide provided by the hotel. Brooklyn is just a district in New York, not even a prosperous area, but for Sue, this is the most lively place he has found since traveling through time. The biggest feature is that it is lively and crowded. The constant coming and going of people made Sue recall the feeling of going out on the street before traveling through time. Sue passed through many places from California to Colorado, and the biggest feeling he had was that the land was vast and the population was sparse. Cities were relatively okay, but the total population of many towns and villages was not as large as the people in the ordinary high school he passed through before. Diversity is Sue's second feeling. Whether it was the pedestrians on the street or the surrounding shops, people of all races and exotic features could be seen everywhere. In a few blocks, Sue found 3 or 4 hyuxia restaurants and dragged Olivia to try one. Olivia thought the food tasted good. Sue came with high hopes but left disappointed. How should I put it? The taste was hard to describe and it was definitely not authentic hyuxia food. Night falls and the lights come on. There are fewer and fewer pedestrians on the streets, and more homeless people on the roadside. Olivia's brows knitted slightly, and more malicious eyes fell on her. She approached Sue and whispered, "It's too late. We should go back." Sue naturally also noticed the situation around him, and there were many malicious eyes cast on him. With an Asian face, dressed in designer clothes and accompanied by a beautiful girl, he is like a firefly in the dark, it is hard not to attract attention. Sue already felt that someone was following them slowly, pretending to be unintentional. "Let's take a taxi back." Sue had no intention of teaching them a new way of life, so she and Olivia stopped by the roadside and prepared to hail a car. They failed to stop a taxi, but a police car stopped in front of them. "P.S. Thank you brothers for the tips. I wonder if you have guessed which American TV series the neighbors are from." Chapter 18. The black police officer with a buzz cut got out of the car and walked in front of Sue and Olivia. He looked past them and gave a warning look to the people with bad intentions. He didn't look away until those guys left unwillingly. "Outsiders should not come here at night, especially wealthy outsiders," Luke reminded sternly, then turned around and said, "Where are you going?" "I'll take you there." "No need, let's take a taxi and leave." Olivia declined. As a potential killer with a murder case, she was not panicked when facing the police, but she didn't want to have too much contact with them. Luke turned around and pointed behind them, "I'm leaving. They won't give you a chance to get a taxi." "The Condor Hotel, thank you." Sue patted Olivia's shoulder, smiled and nodded to the officer, and walked towards the passenger door. Olivia frowned slightly, said nothing more, and sat in the back seat. Something is wrong. Sue's reaction was not right. Neither himself nor Sue would worry about those street thugs, and there was no need to take a police car. Even if they did, they should sit together. However, Sue took the initiative to sit in the passenger seat. What was he trying to do? Luke was unaware of Sue's abnormality and Olivia's doubts. To him, these two were just 2 young men who almost got into trouble and happened to be met in his jurisdiction after get-off work. "My name is Sue, what's your address, officer?" Sue turned slightly sideways and looked at the other person with interest. "Luke. Officer Luke, do you believe in fate?" Sue asked with interest. "I'm a policeman. Having a connection with me may not necessarily be a good thing. Also, you'd better stop looking at me like that. I'm not a monkey in a zoo." Luke was a little dissatisfied. The young man's eyes made him very uncomfortable. "Indeed, you are not a monkey." She seemed not to hear the warning in Luke's words. She turned her head and winked at Olivia. "Monkeys in the zoo are not uncommon. What is rare is the wolf who is a police officer." Squeak. Luke slammed on the brakes. "What do you mean?" Luke turned his head, his voice cold, his eyes shining as he stared at Sue. The atmosphere in the car suddenly became solemn and depressing. Olivia's hand quietly reached behind her waist. Of course, the wolf that Sue, a supernatural creature enthusiast, was talking about was not an ordinary wolf, and an ordinary wolf could not be a policeman, so, this policeman turned out to be a werewolf? Olivia knew why Sue was so abnormal. She had heard Sue mention werewolves several times and believed in their existence, but, wasn't it a little too sudden? She was not mentally prepared at all. Didn't we say we were coming to New York to see the devil? Why did we change to werewolves? Are you sure he's a werewolf? Olivia looked at Luke and said doubtfully, shouldn't a werewolf live a cautious life in the dark? How can he be a policeman? And he looks like a good person. At least he took the initiative to help us. He doesn't fit the impression of a werewolf in my mind at all. There are all kinds of supernatural creatures in the shadow world, so it's normal to have a good werewolf who works as a policeman. Sue paused for a moment, chuckled at the alert Luke. There are also different types of werewolves. Some werewolves can transform into wolves, some are human wolves, most of them rely on bloodlines to pass down from generation to generation, and some can turn humans into werewolves if they bite or scratch them. Officer Luke belongs to this type. Shadow hunter, wizard, demon hunter, or something else? Luke asked, staring at Sue. Neither. You should be able to smell it. Sue shook her head. You came to me on your own. I have no ill intentions. However, I am indeed interested in you, or rather, werewolves. I know that you used to be a shadow hunter, but later you were tricked into becoming a werewolf. You must feel bad, right? Luke remained silent. You definitely don't trust me. No matter what I say now, you will doubt it. The innocent are innocent, so I won't waste my breath explaining so much. Just take us back to the hotel. See you at Yulang Hyuxia restaurant tomorrow. Jade Wolf Hyuxia restaurant is the base camp of the werewolves in this area. Luke didn't expect that he even knew this. Half an hour later, at the entrance of the Vulture Hotel, Sue exchanged numbers with Luke before getting off the car, said he would call him before leaving the next day, and then went into the hotel with Olivia. After watching the two figures disappear from his sight, Luke took out his cell phone and dialed a number while driving. As a werewolf policeman, both the werewolf forces and the police station have ways to investigate the identities of these two people. Bite. The elevator door slowly opened, and Sue and Olivia came to his room. After entering the room, Olivia took out a bottle of champagne from Sue's suitcase and sat down on the sofa with two glasses. Bang! Opening the champagne and filling the glass, Olivia leaned on the sofa and said to Sue, I have wine, do you have a story? I know so many stories. Sue sat down on the other side, took a few sips of champagne, and slowly spoke, you know why I came to New York? Why did you choose Brooklyn? The biggest reason was that I wanted to try my luck. To be honest, I'm not sure if I can find the person I want here, but since I decided to start a new life, my luck has been particularly good. I can't get everything I want, but I can always encounter surprises. Luke is one of the people I'm looking for. To be more precise, the werewolf that Luke represents. You're right when you say that Luke is a good man. He doesn't fit the image of a werewolf that you know. He is indeed a good man and a trustworthy person. About 10 years ago, when Luke was still a shadow hunter, he... P.S. The neighbor family in the previous chapter comes from Charlie's growth diary. Due to the timeline, the little girl Teddy has not grown up yet. She is quite beautiful when she grows up. Chapter 19. Luke's story is not complicated and comes from the American TV series Shadow Hunters. Many years ago, the six-winged angel Raziel used the Holy Grail to create a hybrid with angel and human blood, the Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunters have the blood of six-winged angels and have made it their mission to hunt demons and protect the human world. Among them, 3 are worth mentioning, Valentine, Luke, and Jocelyn. Valentine and Luke are friends, Luke and Jocelyn are partners, and Valentine and Jocelyn are lovers. Valentine is a paranoid person who pursues the purity of his bloodline blindly, so he kills other half-blood elves, wizards, and other shadow creatures. This behavior was a serious violation of the Covenant, and he began to question the correctness of the Covenant and wanted to seize the Holy Grail to create more Shadow Hunters. Since the angel Raziel used the Holy Grail to create the first Shadow Hunter, this method has been strictly prohibited to create Shadow Hunters. Therefore, although they know that Valentine's original intention was just to protect everyone from making unnecessary sacrifices, they have no choice but to persuade him, but this also makes Valentine's rebellious thoughts stronger. As Valentine's thoughts became more and more extreme, Luke and Jocelyn fell in love while comforting and advising Valentine. Both of them were very restrained about this, but Valentine mistakenly thought that they were having an affair, and thus became even more extreme. He was even willing to use the blood of the alien race he despised to transform himself into a powerful warrior. He set a trap to harm Luke, betrayed the oath he made to his comrades, and betrayed his own beliefs. Valentine lied that some farmers were missing and said it was the werewolves' fault, and asked Luke to go to the farm for support, but he closed the door after Luke rushed in. Although Luke did not die, he turned into a werewolf. Valentine wanted to create a brand new Shadow Hunter team. He knew that the Holy Grail would be exhibited when the charter was signed to demonstrate the power of the conclave. He broke into the temple, killed countless shadow hunters and shadow creatures who blocked his way, and seized the Holy Grail. However, due to the obstruction of Jocelyn and his golden partner Luke, who can connect with each other and enhance their strength, the Holy Grail ultimately failed to fall into Valentine's hands. His conspiracy failed and he died. Luke accepted his werewolf identity and became a policeman, and Jocelyn stopped being a shadow hunter. The story of the American TV series Shadow Hunters begins after this, and the heroine of the story is the daughter of Jocelyn and Valentine. Finding the Holy Grail, saving mother, and beating father, that's roughly the story. The heroine is very beautiful, the kind of beauty that Sue finds stunning. But her personality is problematic. She is too self-centered, has serious double standards, and is a saintly BCH. How about this story? Sue asked with a smile after drinking the wine in the glass. Olivia raised the corner of her mouth and asked gossipingly, "So, is Luke and Valentine's girlfriend Jocelyn together?" "No." "Why? Isn't Valentine dead?" "Let's start with emotion and end with reason." Sue felt sorry for Luke. Putting aside their relationship with Valentine, everyone believed that Valentine was dead afterwards. Jocelyn started a new life with her daughter, and Luke had been taking care of them. For Jocelyn's daughter, Luke served as a father figure in her growing up experience. Later, Jocelyn got into trouble, and her daughter entered a whole new world in a daze. It was Luke who took care of her all the way, helped her with the aftermath, and helped her grow up. Finally, he found Jocelyn with great difficulty and made her wake up. Their relationship also tended to sublimate. Then, Jocelyn died. It's all about emotion and reason. Olivia curled her lips in disapproval and changed the subject. "What are you going to do when you meet him tomorrow?" "Let's chat and make friends. If he doesn't mind, let's watch the werewolf's transformation process." "Well, if I'm lucky, maybe I can find a way to turn him back into a human." "Can you turn a werewolf back into a human?" Olivia didn't quite believe it. She had heard of legends about people being bitten and turning into werewolves, and that was acceptable to her, but how could a werewolf turn back into a human being? Sue shook his head. "It's just an idea, whether it will succeed depends on luck." His idea is sealing technique. Sealing techniques are techniques that use a sealing method to seal the opponent's chakra. Particularly powerful sealing techniques can also restrict the opponent's body or soul. Contract seal can sever the contractual relationship between the enemy and the summoned beast. Assuming that blood connection is equivalent to contractual connection, and the seal cuts off the blood relationship between the transformer and the transformed, can the transformed person return to the state before the contractual relationship, to the state before being transformed? Sealing evil seal, a sealing technique that uses a curse seal to block the opponent's chakra. Chakra is the energy that is a perfect fusion of body and mind. Assuming that the werewolf's power is similar to the existence of chakra, if it is sealed and the power cannot be used, it will not get out of control, and the goal can be achieved in a symptomatic way. 5 Elements Seal, seal the monsters. Sue felt that this seal was more suitable for dealing with those possessed, such as ghosts or demons. Once they were sealed in the possessed body and could not leave, the most difficult problem of possession would be solved. Sue felt that the contract seal was more suitable for vampires who had a strict hierarchy and where the superiors had absolute control over the subordinates. However, the seal to seal evil has a greater chance of success. In the Naruto anime, Kakashi used the evil sealing seal to seal the curse power that Orochimaru injected into Sasuke's body. The power of the seal is an external force, and the wolf's bane in Luke's body is also an external force. If you are lucky, the Naruto system and the American TV series world system will influence and be compatible with each other, and Luke can indeed be transformed from a werewolf back into a human. Although it may not be a cure for the disease, it may be a temporary solution. It's enough to treat the symptoms. After all, I'm the only one who can use the Hokage seal. As long as Luke is careful and doesn't break the seal for other reasons, it can be a temporary solution for a lifetime, which is no different from treating the root cause. P.S. I used my imagination to make some changes. If you guys have any ideas about Naruto, please leave a message in the book review section. Chapter 20. In his spare time, Su had thought of many ideas for ninjutsu similar to the sealing technique. For example, the Kisara technique absorbs the power of other ninjas into the body and makes it a part of the caster. This technique can integrate bloodline limits. If the blood power of supernatural creatures is considered a bloodline limit, wouldn't it be possible to obtain the abilities of supernatural creatures outside the Hokage system? The Inyazuka clan has stronger sense of smell, hearing, and vision than ordinary people. It can be said that they are basically similar to canines. Their clan's secret ninjutsu, the four-legged technique, the orc clone, the pseudo-orc technique, the Yatonja, and the like are a perfect match for werewolves. The Yamanaka clan's mind transfer technique can be used against possessed targets. The mind-turning puppet curse seal technique uses the puppet under the spell to attack the enemy. As long as the puppet is attacked by the enemy, the technique will be activated, allowing the enemy's mental power to enter the puppet, and the caster's mental power will enter the enemy's body. Whether used against possessed targets or as a cameo curse, the effect should be very good. Of course, ideas are just ideas. Even if the ideas are right, you can only watch helplessly if you don't know these ninjutsu. It's like Su really wants to know if a creature like a werewolf can become a spiritual beast, but without spiritualism, he can only think about it. The essence of spiritualism is to summon creatures to assist in battle. Blood spiritualism, sign a contract, make a blood contract, use blood as a medium, and use space to teleport the spiritual beast to the spiritual location. In other words, psychic creatures can actually live in the real world, and the function of psychic magic is to summon psychic creatures from other places to one's side. There are 5 known types of psychics. Contract psychic communication, animal psychic communication, ninja beast psychic communication, tool psychic communication, and human psychic communication. Werewolves can take the route of animal or ninja beast summoning, while vampires and the like can take the route of human summoning, similar to the impure world reincarnation, and are usually sealed in coffins and treated as dead objects to summon spirits. The most important thing is that in addition to being able to summon these psychic beasts to help at critical moments, you can also use reverse psychic communication. If we sign contracts to train summoned beasts from all over the world, and then make a phone call to them, we can perform reverse summoning. Just based on the distance, the effect is much stronger than other time and space ninjutsu. The only difficulty lies in how to train the psychic beast to reverse psychic summoning, which is not an easy task. This is a bit far-fetched. The Sua family doesn't know any of the above ninjutsu that can verify these ideas. So, become stronger, boy. Olivia's curiosity was satisfied after listening to the story, and she felt drunk again. She went back to her room to rest contentedly. Sua opened the system panel. Points, 9,651. 2 options, either draw a lottery or exchange for experience points to increase your level. 10,000 experience points can be used to level up, just spend them casually tomorrow. 10,000 experience points equals 10,000 points, which equals $1 million. Without using a shadow clone, it would take a week to earn 1 million. This is a choice between the present and the future. There's nothing to worry about, it's just a matter of a few days. Let's draw the lottery. The first 10 consecutive draws. Shuriken 5 Kunai 3 Fuma Shuriken 1 Flash Bomb 1 The second 10 consecutive draws. Shuriken 8 Fuma Shuriken 2 This is FG annoying. Let's just watch it together after it's over. Another 7-10 draw streaks. A total of 9-10 draws, consuming 9,000 points, with 651 points remaining. The total reward is Shuriken 45 Kunai 32 Flash Bomb 2 Fuma Shuriken 3 Detonator 2 Scroll 1 Substitute Technique 1 Magic, The Art of Narakushen 1 Ninja Tool Throwing Technique 1 Evil Seal 1 Shadow Dance Leaf * 1 Oh, that's not bad. Ignoring the large quantities of shurikens, kunai and other ninja tools, there is quite a rich variety of ninjutsu this time. Although the substitution technique is only one of the 3 basic techniques, it is very practical and will increase your safety factor when fighting. The magic of Naraku is an illusion that can make the opponent see the image they fear most and deal a psychological blow to them. The ninja tool throwing technique is what Su really needs right now. His throwing skills are terrible, otherwise he wouldn't have used the shuriken throw all-out technique. After drawing so many ninja tools, he finally doesn't have to throw them into the system to gather dust. System, you are the one with Ash. The seal to seal evil was Su's main goal in this lottery. He now really felt that he was the king of luck and would not accept any objection. The last one is Shadow Dance Leaf, a physical move. It rushes to the enemy at an extremely fast speed, kicks the enemy into the air, and then deals a fatal blow. It can be followed by the moves Outer Lotus or Inner Lotus, which can be regarded as a charge skill and a connecting skill. Its own lethality is not high. Sasuke's Lion combo and Naruto's Naruto combo are both derived moves, and can be considered very practical starting moves. So it took a while to digest the newly learned ninjutsu, extracted the shuriken and kunai in the system, summoned 2 shadow clones, and let the shadow clones master the ninja tool throwing technique and practice evasive reaction. By the way, make more money. Housing prices in Brooklyn should be more expensive than in Denver, right? Now that I'm here, I can't stay for too long, so I can't just buy 1 or 2 properties and leave, right? So didn't remember when the 2 shadow clones disappeared, but the tinkling sounds lasted for a long time before he fell into a drowsy sleep. 9 o'clock in the morning. So summoned 2 shadow clones to stay in the room, and he and Olivia left the hotel and continued to explore this strange city. They walked, stopped, strolled, and shopped, and before they knew it, it was already afternoon. Most of the shopping spoils had been sent back to the hotel, and the 2 of them only carried a few bags, so they were considered to be traveling light. I'm hungry. Olivia sat on a bench on the pedestrian street, rubbing her sore legs and said unhappily, "You can shop too much, right? Next time I go shopping with you, if I wear high heels again, I will change shoes." Sol lifted her feet and shook her shoes. Olivia didn't seem to expect this kind of operation. It was impossible to change her shoes, and she couldn't wear Sue's shoes. But her mood improved, and her original little complaints disappeared in an instant. P.S. Let me say that this book does not write about superheroes. It mainly focuses on American TV series from Marvel and DC. So Lucifer and Constantine probably won't be written about. The main reason is that these dramas have linkages behind them, and writing about one will inevitably involve other superheroes. Chapter 21. When are you going to see Luke? Olivia changed the subject. Sue smiled and said, "Aren't you hungry? Go now, it's a good opportunity to taste the werewolf's cooking skills. If you have other plans, it's okay for me to be late, or just grab something to eat. The hot dogs over there look good." Olivia could tell that Sue had changed his plans at the last minute. Sue smiled and shook her head, took out her cell phone, found Luke's number and called him. After a few rings, the call was connected. "Officer Luke, this is Sue. Do you have time now?" "Okay, I'll be there right away. It will take about. I don't know how long it will take. You can ask the restaurant to prepare a few of their signature dishes. It would be best if we can eat them right away when we get there." "Okay, see you later." Sue hung up the phone, stood up and picked up the bag. "Let's go." Green Street, Key. Sue and Olivia got out of the taxi and saw the Jade Wolf Hyuxia restaurant. It was ordinary, nothing special, with the words Jade Wolf Hyuxia restaurant written in Hyuxia characters on the yellow sign. If you don't know the details, who would have thought that this ordinary restaurant would be a den of wolves? It would be fine if you werewolves opened a restaurant, but you actually opened a Hyuxia restaurant. A foreigner, a werewolf at that, opened a Hyuxia restaurant. Don't you feel awkward? Don't the customers feel uncomfortable either? It is true that great people hide in the city. Just go in like this?" Olivia asked in a low voice, looking at the guys nearby who were staring at them. "Let's go back, take a bath, burn incense, change clothes and pray devoutly for a few hours before coming back." Sue joked with a smile. Olivia rolled her eyes at him. "You know that's not what I meant. We are not here to provoke trouble. There is no chance of a fight. Even if a fight does break out, I can still get you out of this situation safely. I'm not afraid." After Olivia finished speaking, she took the lead, walked with a step that seemed to be a bit unaware of her relatives, held her head high, and pushed the door open while walking in amidst the gazes of the crowd. Sue followed with a smile. He felt that Olivia didn't seem as cool as when they first met. Her personality was about to collapse. What catches your eye after you come in are the dining tables on both sides. There are big red wedding characters on the partition screens between the tables, and there are several ink paintings hanging on the wall. At first glance, it is very atmospheric, but upon closer inspection, what the hell is this? Which restaurant has big red wedding characters on it every day? People who know you are a restaurant may think you are getting married, but those who don't may think you are getting married. You post it every day. What? You get married every day and act as a bridegroom every night? Even if you put up a post wishing you good fortune and prosperity and a god of wealth, it would look more like the real deal than this big red character. It would be more authentic if we could offer a deity called Guan Yu as an offering. Is the food ready? If it's ready, serve it. We'll eat and talk at the same time. Sue pulled Olivia to find a seat and sat down. With just one sentence, Luke's serious and aggressive expression fell into disarray. Eat and talk? What do you think this place is? What do you think of this meeting? Looking at Sue's relaxed and casual posture, Luke couldn't help but want to roar and curse. After sending Sue and Olivia back to the Vulture Hotel last night, Luke began to investigate their identities. On the surface, there was no problem with their identities, but no problem was the biggest problem. How could an ordinary person with no problems know so much about the shadow world? How could he recognize that he is a werewolf at first glance and know so much about his past? There was no problem on the surface, and Luke secretly asked people in the shadow world to help inquire, but unfortunately the time was too short and there was no news. Although it was Luke Jinggang AI who took the initiative to contact and help them last night, who knows if this was not a deliberately designed trap. So Luke was very excited about this meeting, and had been guessing Sue's identity and purpose. He had expected this meeting to be a serious discussion, even if it would not be tense. But what happened? As soon as Sue came in, he was so relaxed, as if he was attending a dinner with friends. What did that mean? Luke waved his hand in the direction of the kitchen and sat down in front of Sue. Tell me, what is your purpose? What do you think my purpose is? Sue asked with a smile. Luke said coldly, if I knew what your purpose was, you wouldn't be sitting here now. I tell you, no matter what your purpose is, you won't succeed, understand? Then why are you asking me what my purpose is? You are sure that I won't succeed anyway, so why bother? Sue retorted. No, it should be said that it was a complaint. A preemptive strike can have a miraculous effect if done well, or it can also have a miraculous effect if done badly, but it's just a way to make people laugh. Sol looked at Luke with a dark face. Well, he was black and had a dark face. What's going on? Ever since I came here, I can't suppress my urge to complain. What happened last night was really fate. Although I am interested in you and werewolves, I have no ill intentions. I am purely curious and want to see them. Believe it or not, I am particularly interested in supernatural creatures. Sol looked at Luke and said, I asked you out today because I wanted to make friends with you. I chose this place, your territory, to make you feel at ease. Of course, I also want to meet other werewolves. Anyway, after this meal, if you're willing to be friends with me, we'll continue to interact. If you still don't believe it or are not interested, then just pretend we've never met. I'll continue to look for my supernatural creatures, and you can continue to be the police, and we'll keep our distance. What if I refuse? Luke asked in a deep voice. Don't agree, let's touch each other. P.S. I'm going crazy. I wrote this chapter from midnight to 3 o'clock. It's not because the plot is difficult, but I simply couldn't find the mood to write. Chapter 22. Bang. As soon as Sue finished speaking, the man at the next table in front of him angrily hammered the table, then stood up and walked in front of Sue. As he moved, the other werewolves in the restaurant stood up and surrounded Sue's table in a blink of an eye, each of them baring their teeth as if they were ready to devour someone. Do you want to die? The man glared at Sue, his tone cold and exuding an aggressive and murderous intent. Who is he? Sue turned her head to look at Luke. Theo, the leader of the werewolves. It wasn't Luke who was speaking, but Theo himself. Sue nodded, looked at the werewolves surrounding him, and said to Theo with a smile, You want to fight? Kid, I hate your attitude. Sometimes, you should know what reverence is. If you don't understand, I don't mind helping you understand. Theo said coldly. Ah? To whom, you? Even though you are the leader of the werewolves, you are not qualified, and there is nothing worthy of my awe. You'll soon know whether I'm qualified or not. Theo snorted and waved his hand to let the other werewolves move away. He stepped back slightly, stood in the aisle, and hooked his finger at Sue with disdain. Sue chuckled and stood up, standing opposite Theology. Didn't you say you weren't here to provoke trouble? Didn't you say there wouldn't be a fight? I knew it would turn out like this. Olivia secretly complained, reaching back again to grab her gun. To be honest, Olivia suddenly felt a little frustrated at this moment. Since she met Sue, her worldview has completely changed. There are shapeshifters, man-eating monsters, and now werewolves. Sue is a ninja who knows ninjutsu, but what about her? Just a pistol. What's the point of reaching for the gun every time you encounter a situation? Come on, boy. Theo spread his hands, indicating that Sue could take the first step. Are you so arrogant? Okay, then I won't be polite. It's a good opportunity to try out some new ninjutsu. Make a seal, turn around, and sit down. All in one go. You. I originally thought there would be a fierce battle, or a boundless sea of fire like last time, but Sue just made an unknown seal and turned around to sit down? What is going on? He just said he wanted to have a fight, and said that the werewolf leader was not worthy of his respect, but now, he's scared? Olivia couldn't understand it, Luke couldn't understand it, and the other werewolves couldn't understand it either. Magic. The art of Naruto. Sue's mouth curled up slightly and he spoke slowly and softly. How dare you? The werewolf leader Theo suddenly shouted angrily, and everyone was stunned by his shout. Do you dare? What is the leader talking about? We didn't do anything? Is he talking about that kid? But he didn't do anything either, and the woman next to him didn't seem to do anything either. Just when the wolves were confused and at a loss, Theo spoke angrily again. I am your leader, how dare you attack me? You want to defeat me and become the new leader? You are dreaming. No, no, let me go, don't kill me, I am willing to leave the tribe, don't kill me, don't kill me. Although Theo stood still, his expression was very rich. He was angry and ferocious at the beginning, but gradually turned into humility and fear. He began to beg for mercy, and finally let out a shrill scream, like the last roar of his life. Even without looking at his expression, one could hear the boundless fear just from the voice. Plop! Theo's knees went weak and he fell heavily to the ground, supporting himself with his hands and lowering his head. Cold sweat of fear dripped onto the ground. His body twitched violently and he gasped for air greedily, like a person who was almost suffocating breathing in the air. Quiet! Deathly silence! The leader's condition confused all the werewolves. They didn't know what Sue had done, but they knew that the leader must have experienced something very horrible and terrible, otherwise the leader who had always been the most brave and powerful would not be like this. That kind of fear, even though they didn't know what the leader had gone through, they all felt empathy and fear in their hearts. They subconsciously looked towards Sue, and the moment their eyes fell on Sue, they subconsciously quickly dodged away. They were actually afraid to look at Sue. You, what did you do to me? Theo stood up trembling, his voice shaking uncontrollably. Sue looked at Theo, but before their eyes met, Theo suddenly turned his head away. He, Theo, the werewolf leader, didn't even have the courage to look at each other. This made Theo feel his self-esteem was insulted. He clenched his hands tightly and tensed his body, trying to suppress the fear. But my mind couldn't help but respond to the scene I just experienced. It was in this Yulang Hyuxia restaurant that his tribe rebelled and everyone besieged him. He fought back, he was the Wolf King, he was the strongest one. But in the end he was defeated and was about to die. He was terrified and scared. He began to beg for mercy and even prepared to leave the tribe. But those tribesmen refused to let him go and attacked him, biting his body without mercy. The feeling of being eaten was so real that he could still feel the pain of being torn apart all over his body. Scared. He was really scared. It all seems so real, as if it really happened. Sometimes, you should know what awe is. If you don't understand, I don't mind helping you understand. Sue spoke slowly. His voice, his tone, and even his posture seemed like he was just chatting casually. He did not have the arrogance and aggressiveness that Theo had said before, but the effect was several times stronger than that. Because now, no one thinks that Sue is not qualified to say so. P.S. I made a timeline of American TV series myself, which may not be accurate. Some American TV series do not directly indicate the time when the plot takes place, and we can only judge by small details that may flash by in which episode. There are also some that I have not followed yet, so I can only say that I try to arrange it according to the timeline as much as possible. For example, according to the current time in the book, the heroine of the Vampire Diaries is only 13 years old, and the plot is written according to the time as much as possible. Therefore, some new American TV series, which have a later plot time, will not appear so quickly. Chapter 23. What did you do to the leader? Luke stood up and questioned, his eyes glowing green. As a member of the Wolf clan, although Luke is also afraid of the Sui family's unpredictable methods, he must stand up. The wolf tribe's way of survival is unity. He cannot stand idly by at this time. Moreover, he was the one who caused the trouble, so he cannot do nothing. I just let him see the image that he fears the most and recognize his own heart. A true warrior dares to face the bleak life and the blood. He is afraid that one day he will be driven down from his position as leader by you. He is afraid of the battles and bloodshed that will come with your siege. He is even afraid of me, his opponent, and dares not look me in the eye. Is such a leader worthy of my respect? Is he worthy of your respect? He is already useless. Luke opened his mouth, but no words came out. The restaurant was completely silent, with only Theo's breathing, whether out of fear or anger, clearly audible. Werewolves are united, aggressive, and brave by nature. Most of them are not afraid of death and dare to fight to the death. Even if I lose or die, I will never back down. If the leader of a tribe is timid and weak and cannot lead the tribe to better development, the werewolves in the tribe will challenge his position, kill the previous leader, and become the new leader. The werewolves in the restaurant looked at Theo with different eyes. Originally they were a little worried, and some of them wanted to avenge their leader and make Sue pay the price. But now, Sue's words changed their minds. Is a leader who fears being overthrown by his people really qualified to continue to serve as the leader of the tribe? Is a leader who begs for mercy from his people really a warrior? He just saw the image that he feared the most, and then he didn't even have the courage to look the enemy in the face. Is such a leader, such a Theo, really worthy of awe? No, he is no longer qualified to be the leader. In fact, he has become a disgrace to the wolf clan. If today's news gets out, and the wolf leader is frightened by the enemy's tactics without even fighting them, and doesn't even have the courage to look the enemy in the face, then they, the werewolves, will lose all face. Two options. Either kill the two outsiders, Sue and Olivia, or kill Theo and choose a new leader. There are many kinds of werewolves, not all of them are simply demented and unable to use their brains like wild beasts. At least the wolf tribe in the restaurant is not like that, and they thought of this. It's just that every werewolf thinks differently. Only one or two looked at Sue, as they had a close relationship with Theo, and almost all the rest looked at theology obviously. They chose to elect a new leader for the tribe. What do you want to do? Theo shouted and howled in a ferocious manner, trying to scare them with his past majesty and discourage them from trying. Unfortunately, times have changed. Having seen him defeated, having seen his cowardice and fear, Theo's power was long gone, and this roaring warning not only did not scare people, but instead proved that he was tough on the outside but weak on the inside. Woohoo! Suddenly, a man changed. His originally strong body bent, and the hair all over his body grew rapidly. Finally, his body leaped up and turned into a grey wolf with sharp fangs and claws on all fours. Woohoo! Woohoo! The howling of wolves came one after another. In an instant, all the werewolves in front of them, except Luke, transformed, including their leader Theo. The fighting began without any warning. Most of the werewolves pounced on Theo almost at the same time. A few werewolves tried to stop them and help Theo, but they were outnumbered and could only stop a few. The rest had already begun to besiege Theo. I have to say that Theo is quite capable of becoming a leader. Although he is uneasy now and worried that the illusion will become reality, his strength is still very strong. He opened his mouth and instantly bit through the neck of a wolf with his sharp teeth. He then swung it towards the other enemies with force, blocking them for a moment. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Theo leaped directly onto the dining table, kicked his legs, broke the window glass, and jumped out amid the sound of shattering glass. Seeing this, the other werewolves either jumped out of the window or turned around and rushed out of the door, chasing after him relentlessly. The wind blew in through the broken window, and a faint smell of blood gradually filled the air. The broken window, the grey wolf lying on the ground twitching and sobbing slightly, the restaurant was silent and the atmosphere was indescribably weird. Fa, what happened? Are there any enemies causing trouble here? An old man who looked somewhat aged came out of the kitchen carrying a tray of food. He looked at the messy scene outside and the injured tribesmen, and asked Luke tremblingly. Without enemies, the tribe is about to change. Luke glanced at Sue with a complicated expression, stood up, took the plate from the old man's hand and placed it on the table. Eat, and then you can leave. Why? I'm scared. Just a few words and you changed the leader of our wolf tribe. I'm afraid if you continue, not only will the wolf tribe change its leader, but you may even exterminate it. It's no fun if you say that. Are you scared? I believe you will be scared, but I don't believe you will be as scared as that leader who doesn't even dare to show his teeth. Believe me, I have a pretty good eye for people. Not everyone can make me make friends with them. P.S. This is my 8th book. Old readers all know that what I write are definitely invincible stories. Some of the characters are so invincible when they appear that their combat power reaches the ceiling, while others are invincible stories after upgrading. No matter which one, when the plot is written, they are definitely invincible, and there is never any sense of frustration. There is no need to worry about this. I have written about the cheat code of the Door fruit for Marvel backgrounds, so for non-Marvel and DC supernatural TV series, such as vampires, werewolves, etc., the Naruto system is definitely enough, and if you open your mind, it can cover almost all aspects. Everyone should lower their expectations on combat power a little. The combat power ceiling of this book is not that high. There is no need to compare it with the American comics. Even if a ceiling like God appears in the later stage, that will be when the later stage is almost over. Not to mention the creative strengthening of the Naruto system itself, even if it is more direct, you can patch the system and explain the origin of the system. Chapter 24. So picked up a few bites of food for Olivia, who was struggling with her chopsticks, and tasted some herself. Typical American Hyuxia food. I thought there would be some special features for a Hyuxia restaurant run by you werewolves. Shaking his head in disappointment and putting down his chopsticks, Sol looked at the injured grey wolf, his eyes slightly lighting up. The grey wolf had changed back into human form, covering his injured and bleeding neck and twitching slightly. Here comes the point. This guy's clothes didn't fall off when he turned into a wolf, they just disappeared, and he didn't have any clothes on when he was in wolf form. But when he changed back into human form, the clothes reappeared and were worn on his body intact. This is amazing, a bit like the transformation technique in Naruto, which allows external objects to change as well. I've learned a lot. Just for this reason, today's visit was not in vain. You won't save him. The other werewolves went to hunt down Theo, leaving only Luke and the old chef in the restaurant, but they didn't seem to have any intention of saving the injured werewolf. Luke looked at the injured werewolf with sorrow in his eyes. He can't be saved. Only a wizard can heal the wound from the wolf's bite. He was bitten on the neck. It's too late to find a wizard. Sir remembered that in the TV series, Luke seemed to have been bitten by the alpha wolf and was finally cured by the wizard Magnus. The alpha wolf that bit him was Theo, and Luke also killed Theo and became the new alpha wolf, that is, the leader of the wolf clan. Am I helping Luke escape a disaster in advance? Well, you're welcome. He can only wait to die, there is no chance, right? So confirmed with Luke again, then stood up and walked to the injured werewolf. If I knew medical ninjutsu, I might be able to save you. Unfortunately, I don't know it yet. If you don't mind, can you make some final contribution to the wolf tribe? The werewolf was seriously injured, especially in the neck. He was unable to speak at this moment. He could only nod his head with difficulty and look straight at Sue. I know a sealing ninjutsu. I don't know if it works. If it does, it can seal the werewolf's power and turn it back into a human to some extent. Sue spoke clearly to explain to the werewolf, and at the same time began to arrange the seal to seal away evil. Do me a favor and take off his shirt. Sue placed talismans around the werewolf and formed a ninja formation, while turning to Luke and giving an order. What are you up to? I just said it very clearly and specifically. We'll talk about it after we succeed. If we don't succeed, it's meaningless to say it or not. What do you need me to do? Olivia asked. Hurry up and eat. The ninjutsu of sealing evil seal is very troublesome. You must first draw symbols, or seals, around the person being cast. Each one must be correct. At the same time, the person casting the spell must take off his shirt, because some symbols must be drawn on the body. What is used to draw symbols? Blood. The process will be very painful. You'd better hold on, otherwise my blood will be shed in vain. This is the first time I bleed since I came to this world. Sue helped the werewolf sit up and reminded him seriously, you may not be able to hold on until you succeed in your current state. If you feel that the process is effective, remember to blink 3 times in a row before you die. Look closely at his eyes. Sue instructed Luke again. To be honest, Luke didn't understand what Sue was doing, nor did he believe he could succeed, but he hoped Sue could succeed. Sue stood behind the werewolf, took a deep breath, recalled the seal to seal evil, and quickly formed a seal with his hands together. At this moment, So wished that he could clap his hands and get whatever he wanted. Although making hand seals was cool and very Naruto-like, it was really tiring. If you don't learn ninjutsu directly with the help of the system, just practicing hand seals is not that easy. It is easy to find that your brain cannot keep up with your hands or your hands cannot keep up with your brain. Seal the evil. After completing the last seal, So placed his hand on the werewolf's shoulder. The light suddenly lit up and flashed by. The werewolf's painful howl suddenly sounded, and the symbols on the ground seemed to come alive and moved freely, quickly flowing along the werewolf's body towards Su's palm and into the shoulder covered by his palm. 3 comma-shaped marks appeared on the werewolf's shoulders. The werewolf who was howling loudly trembled violently. He used his last bit of strength to quickly blink 3 times at Luke. The howling stopped abruptly. The werewolf's expression froze, and he fell to the ground with his eyes glazed over. Dead. Luke's eyes flashed with sadness and gratitude, and then he looked up at Su. He blinked 3 times. Your eyes. Su's eyes turned white and veins bulged. This scene scared Luke and Olivia. Are you okay? Why did your eyes become like this? Olivia jumped up and came to Su's side in an instant. Don't worry, this is my ability. Su patted Olivia comfortingly. The function of the seal to seal evil is to seal, not to clear. Su rolled his eyes in order to see clearly the flow of power in the werewolf's body, so as to understand the werewolf's bloodline and judge whether the seal to seal evil is successful. The result is hard to describe in a few words. From the perspective of the evil sealing seal itself, the ninjutsu was successfully released and the external force was indeed sealed. But from the perspective of verifying the idea and turning the werewolf back into a human, it seems to have failed. Because the sealed power doesn't seem to be werewolf blood, but the wolf poison of the wolf. P.S. The American TV series that have appeared directly or indirectly so far: Supernatural, The Vampire Diaries, Midnight in Texas, Charlie's Growing Up, and Shadowhunters. Chapter 25. Did it succeed? Luke became inexplicably nervous, held his breath and looked at Su. Su shook her head with a complicated expression. This wave was too sloppy. This result alone cannot prove that the idea of the evil sealing seal has failed. Regardless of the order of sequence or the strength of the power, the first target of the evil sealing seal is very likely to be the wolf poison of the alpha wolf. If I really want to verify my idea, I have to find a werewolf with only werewolf blood and no other external power to try it. Fortunately, it was not without gain. By chance, it was proved that the seal of sealing evil can seal the wolf poison of the head wolf. By analogy, it should be able to seal other similar supernatural powers. Like vampires. If you use the evil seal to seal a person before he or she transforms after being bitten by a vampire, it should be able to prevent the transformation. I failed, it turned out to be impossible. Luke was a little dejected. As a werewolf who changed career path, he knew very well how painful it was to be a werewolf. Life, habits, identity, and worldviews have all changed because of this. He really hopes that So can succeed. It can't be said to be a failure. At least it proves that the wolf poison of the wolf leader can be sealed. The evil seal can probably only seal one kind of power. If there are healthy werewolves, I think we can still give it another try. After thinking for a while, So added, it would be even better if we have test subjects who have just been infected with wolf poison and have not yet been completely transformed. Even if we can't turn werewolves back into humans, we can prevent humans from turning into werewolves. Real. Luke perked up. The possibility of success is very high. The wolf poison of the alpha wolf should be the same as that of ordinary werewolves. If the seal can seal the wolf poison of the alpha wolf, it should be able to seal ordinary wolf poison. Leave it to me. If I succeed, it will save many people's lives. Luke took the responsibility on himself and said to So solemnly. I told you this guy is a good person, So said to Olivia with a smile. Olivia said, you are also a good person. I just want to verify my own ideas. My starting point is not to help others. It's okay to do a little bit of help, but it's impossible to sacrifice myself for others. So believes that he is not a bad person at most. He has his own values and bottom line. You guys go first. It's best not to come here for a while. Call me if you have anything. Luke reminded. The outcome of the leadership battle is still unknown. Regardless of whether Theo is dead or alive, the other werewolves will definitely not let So go when they come back. Werewolves may prioritize matters within their tribe, but that doesn't mean they will let their enemies go. Sue nodded and said to Olivia, "Let's eat somewhere else. I have to make up for the loss of so much blood." Olivia picked up her things and prepared to leave with Sue. When they reached the door, Sue seemed to have thought of something, and turned to Luke and asked, "By the way, do you know a restaurant called Williamsburg?" Luke thought about it and shook his head. "No impression. What's wrong?" "Help me check it out. It should be near the Williamsburg Bridge." Sue raised her hand, opened the door and left with Olivia. After leaving the Jade Wolf Hyuxia restaurant safely, Sue took Olivia to a high-end restaurant with a good reputation. Olivia, who was originally shouting about being hungry, had no interest in food after a series of events at the Jade Wolf Hyuxia restaurant. Although she ate a lot, her attention was not focused on this matter at all. "This really opened my eyes. Werewolves are like this. The leader of the pack, Theo, was badly tricked by you this time. There are also other werewolves who are about to rebel after being instigated by your few words. There are many branches of werewolves. This tribe is relatively good. They just follow the beliefs of the wolf tribe. I know of a tribe of wolves that was tamed by vampires because they were obsessed with vampire blood. They became simple-minded beasts with strong limbs. Their belief is that if the new leader succeeds in the challenge, he must not only kill the previous leader but also eat the previous leader's body." Olivia lost her appetite instantly when she saw the steak in front of her. She asked with a little concern, "Will we be in trouble?" "Not for a short time." So comforted him, "We'll go shopping in the next few days to see if there's a house we like. If we get any news, we'll leave New York and go to Pennsylvania to see the demon." "What news?" "You'll know when the time comes." The meal took about an hour as they ate and talked. After leaving the restaurant, the two of them had no intention of shopping and went straight back to the hotel to rest. In order to travel conveniently, Sue took Olivia out the next day and went directly to the car dealership to pick up a car. SUV. Ford Explorer. Sue didn't like it because the price was too cheap, less than $50,000 in total. "Did I spend too little to make you think I was going to go bankrupt? $50,000 is only 500 points, not even enough for a 10-draw streak." Olivia argued that first of all, she liked this car very much and it was she who was driving, not Sue. Secondly, with Sue's style, this car would probably be abandoned somewhere after not being driven for long. Finally, the back seat and trunk had large space, so there was more room for Sue to buy more things along the way. The roundabout tactics were used well and the Sue family compromised. Over the next few days, the car was driven almost everywhere in Brooklyn. In addition to shopping, enjoying, and experiencing the charm of this city, Sue certainly did not forget his main business. He contacted several real estate companies and individual real estate agents one after another, and found several good properties. He would buy them all as soon as there was more money in his account. These days, he has been keeping 2 shadow clones active almost 24 hours a day. His current Chakra can ensure the existence of 2 shadow clones for about 5 hours. When the shadow clone's Chakra is exhausted, his Chakra has been almost restored, and he can summon them again, and the cycle continues. Boom! Just as Sue and Olivia came out of a luxury goods store, his cell phone rang. It was a text message from Luke, containing the address of the Williamsburg restaurant that Sue had asked him to investigate a few days ago. "Go to this place." Sue handed the phone to Olivia, with a slight smile on his face and anticipation. "Williamsburg restaurant, this is a restaurant full of joy. P.S. I believe someone should be able to guess it." If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.